Hello again, Heroes fans. I am back here on the floor here at BlizzCon with a very special person. This is Sam Braithwaite. He's the esports franchise lead for Heroes of the Storm. For those who might not know what that means, what are you responsible for at Blizzard?
Yeah, so my responsibility is basically the overall vision and execution for all of our Heroes of the Storm programs across the world.
And we heard some very exciting news about the Heroes of the Storm programs in general. You showed us a video during opening week. Let's check out that video one more time in case you missed it.
– 2016 has been an amazing year for the HGC and Heroes of the Storm esports. Looking forward to 2017, we're planning on doing even more to help improve the scene for fans and players alike. Let's talk a bit about what you can expect. Following BlizzCon this year, North America, Europe, China, and Korea will be shifting to a uniform league format. Players on the top 8 teams in each region will be contracted and guaranteed both compensation and regular competition as a part of ongoing league play. We're excited to bring a new level of consistency to your favorite team rosters, along with scheduling, casting, and quality of games presented all year round. You can also look forward to more international events throughout the year, matching rival teams from different regions against one another. On the journey to the HGC finals, teams playing at the highest level will have opportunities to compete at 3 international events, including a mid-season global tournament. Competitors from Taiwan, Southeast Asia, Latin America, and ANZ can look forward to local competition that feeds into these international events as well. Furthermore, in 2017, we'll be introducing the Open Division, which is designed to bridge the gap between Hero League and professional play inside the HGC. Twice a year, after proving themselves in a series of weekly open tournaments with cash prize pools, the 2 best teams in the Open Division will get to pit their skills against those of struggling pro teams whose spot in the HGC is up for grabs. Our hope for 2017 is to create a compelling new standard for professional Heroes of the Storm play by building a supportive ecosystem that will showcase the best teams in each region, create stability for top teams by providing monetary support regardless of standings, allow up-and-coming amateur teams and players to vie for inclusion in the pro scene, and provide passionate supporters a consistent viewing experience from the first qualifier all the way to the global championship. There is a lot more to take in about the major changes coming to the scene next year, so be sure to check out heroesofthestorm.com/esports for a full rundown. Don't hesitate to let us know what you think, and we'll see you in the Nexus.
Sam, there's so much exciting stuff in that video, but the thing that the players are most excited about, hands down, is what you announced during opening week, which was a number for our player compensation. What was that number?
Yeah, so one of the things that we are really excited to announce is that all HGC pro teams that are competing from January to November next year are guaranteed to make at least $100,000.
That is a huge number.
Yes.
And I know that the fans are excited about that, as well as about viewing consistency and the open division and so many other things that you're doing to make sure that the Heroes ecosystem thrives. Why was it important to you to make these changes?
Yeah, I mean, BlizzCon has been amazing. Like, these teams have put on such a show, and we want this every single week. We want your average weekday game on HGC to be as intense as the series that we're watching here today. And the only way that we're able to do that is if we have the infrastructure and the stability where our players are taken care of. We want all of our pro teams to treat this like a job and to show up every single day wanting to win and wanting to play the best that they can.
That sounds fantastic to me, Sam. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. Is there anywhere that people should go to learn more, since we don't have time to talk about all the amazing things right now?
Yeah, if you guys want to play in HGC, just head over to heroesofthestorm.com/esports. Check out the overview page. The qualifiers are live right now for all of our tournaments. Grab your friends, sign up, and you could be a pro player. Maybe a year from now, we might see you guys on that stage.
Thank you so much. The future looks very, very bright, Sam. Commentators, what do you think about the news?
Very good news indeed, Anna. Very excited for 2017 as a whole. It is sure to be exciting from start to end. But now we are down to business. What we are about to witness here, ladies and gentlemen, is history in the making, as 2 teams stand on the precipice of having their names immortalized as undisputed champions here of 2016. Fnatic, our European champions, basically, if you consider how they've performed here so far, go up against Super League champions in Ballistix. Heroes are going to be made in this series. I am joined here by Wolf, Gillyweed, and Dreadnought over to the very end. I could not be more pumped for this final.
I'm really excited, guys. I was a little bit stressed out earlier. I was sweating a lot when I saw Fnatic actually destroy MVP Black in that series. I don't think anyone could have seen this coming. History was made in that series, but my team Ballistix from Korea made it all the way here to the grand finals, and I'm going to support them until the end. I think they're going to take this series, but it should be an amazing one. Fnatic has shown they have closed the gap. They've gone farther than closing the gap in between Europe and Korea.
Man, the atmosphere in the back, too. Of course, the crowd is insane here at BlizzCon. But even in the back, we started out the day kind of status quo. And then as Fnatic started to win, teams were getting more excited. And then when they won, I had Chinese players coming past me. Jim and I actually looked at me and was just like, strong, and walked off. It was hilarious. It was awesome. And it was just electric backstage.
It's just amazing to see where these teams have all come from their regional, when they qualified, to what they've learned in this short amount of time through opening week and the beginning here of BlizzCon. It seems like everyone has just multiplied their skill level, their synergy together as a team, and I feel like we've seen better Heroes of the Storm here than we ever have before. In any global championship, any BlizzCon, it is insane the level we're at today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not only did the Fnatic series against MVP Black impress, but even Dignitas going up against Ballistix. Whilst Dignitas was able to give them a little bit of a run for their money, it is undisputed that the power you see behind how Ballistix executes their game is very, very strong.
Very punish heavy. This is what this team is known for. If you overextend one time in lane, you're going to get killed, you're going to get ganked. If you lose a fight, if you lose one hero, they can take 3 Merc camps off that. They can take a boss and the objective. So you really have to play very safe against this team because they are looking to punish every time.
Ballistix are the head boss for Fnatic at this point. Fnatic said, I saw Quacknix backstage, and he was like, I already feel like I won the grand finals, just beating MVP Black, but they're not done yet. And he said, we're not done yet.
Fnatic has so much going through their minds right now. I mean, I was talking to Quacknix behind stage. He was talking about how he felt like, you know, they went into that thinking that MVP was their finals, and now he ended it with a kind of like, I'm in control of this dream, is how he put it. And it's a beautiful way to put it, like that he has faith that they have to do what it takes inside. They can dig deep, and they have the opportunity to take out Ballistix, as Dig has already shown that they can bleed.
Yeah, definitely, they can. And Fnatic, I think we said at the very beginning of the round of 8 in the 2 groups formats that this is the best Fnatic we've ever seen. They just beat MVP Black. They just beat MVP Black on the BlizzCon stage. This is undoubtedly the best Fnatic we have ever seen, by far.
It's the first time Black's not made a finals with this current roster. Fnatic was the team to do that. No one has been able to do that all year long. Every single tournament from start to finish in 2016 that Black has played with this roster, they made the grand finals. They were losing more finals than they won, but they're not even able to make it here because Fnatic destroyed them. It was a pretty one-sided series. Something we've never seen in Heroes of the Storm ever, really since last year when DK lost to Cloud9. It's a very reminiscent time right now when Fnatic is able to knock out Korea.
And I think that does put more pressure on Ballistix here. Of course, there's 2 ex-members of Team DK who were ridiculed when they went back after losing to Cloud9 in the semifinals. But Ballistix are stronger than MVP Black. Their play in the last semifinal just shows it. They are the best team in Korea right now.
And I mean, looking some of the things happening when it comes to the stats alone, the fact that they have a 4-minute shorter average game length shows the dominance that Ballistix has, and that is relative to the region in Korea, knowing that they are so dominant. So Ballistix, obviously, they are one of the favorites. I mean, if the prophecy is going to remain true, the team that wins Super League is the most likely to be able to come out and win the global championship. But I really do think that, you know, I mean, you were talking about how this is the best Fnatic we've ever seen. This is, in my opinion, the best Europe we have ever seen by far.
It seems that way. Let's take a closer look at Fnatic now. They have gone from leaps and bounds and pushed and found themselves in the grand final. When everybody thought out of the European representatives, you would be thinking, Dignitas is the one to go far. No, this roster proved us wrong. They went all the way.
And this is a roster, when you look at it, you sometimes look at Heroes of the Storm at 5-man rosters and think there's a weak link in the team. This team seems to have no weak link. Every single player plays amazingly. My 2 big heroes for this tournament so far have been Breeze and Wubby on the Warriors. They're playing so well right now. They're doing good peeling. They're almost unkillable at times. We've seen games won by Breeze on ETC where he just bolts in, goes for a power slide, gets the stuns, gets the kills in the late game, and gets those wins. I think this team is really strong in late game, and because of their safe style, they get to late game most of the time. They have some of the longest games we've seen in this tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough climb for them, but they have all the momentum going for them, and that's something that will be great for Fnatic. So many people doubted their mental fortitude to come back in series after being down. Even they said they're momentum-based, but they have proven that they could rise above that, and now here they are in the grand finals.
All right, well, we are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, the grand final is about to begin here at BlizzCon. Anna, let's head over to the stage.
Are you ready to find out who will be the world champion of Heroes of the Storm? Raise your hand if you've got nerd chills. Remember, all of us in Heroes are family, so please join me in welcoming our family and our finalists to the stage. First, the very picture of Korean esports prowess. It is Ballistix! Swoi, Nacho Chin, Noblesse, Jungha, and SCSC! Team Ballistix, everybody! Their opponent in the finals, the team that refuses to act like the underdog they are. From Europe, please welcome Fnatic! Quacknix, Breeze, Schwimpy, Wubby, and SFX! These are your final teams in the Heroes of the Storm Fall Championship. Teams, please shake hands. Shake hands, wish each other good game. And then we will see you on the battlefield. Ballistix to the blue team, Fnatic to the red team. Commentators, there's a lot of good spirit up here on the stage and a lot of nerd chills in all of our hearts. We're ready to go into the game.
Thank you very much, Anna. That is right. South Korea goes up against Sweden to find out who is crowned 2016 Fall Championship here for Champions and Heroes of the Storm. That was great. As of course, I'm wondering where all these Korean flags have come, actually. Probably from Korea, knowing you as well. So now we have our two finalists set up and good to go. Our first map, we're going to get right into this really, is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. I want to think about your guys' thoughts. We all know European special.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that Europe is so dominant in this map. It's one of the ones that they're going to concentrate on the most. And looking at the results for Tomb of the Spider Queen when looking at Ballistix, in their region specifically, they've had like a 44% win rate onto the map. It's one of their weaker ones. So the fact that we already see Fnatic stabbing at the weaker targets in the map pool for Ballistix is huge. It shows that they've done the research. They know what they're going to want to step into. And I don't feel like we saw that totally with them versus MVP, so already making adjustments.
Well, also, just looking at how it went for MVP Black versus Fnatic, if Fnatic can get the first win on there, it gives them all of the momentum going forward into the series. So again, going to their comfort place, a place where they have strategies, so many different strategies executed, will be very good for them.
I feel like this map is a map where we see a lot of early rotations, we see a lot of early pressure in lane, but Fnatic, I feel, in this tournament is #1 at not dying, not getting caught, playing safe. We look at these players, they just don't die to ganks. Generally speaking, they don't overextend in team fights. This is a map that goes late game most of the time, and that's where Fnatic really shines. So if they win this game, because they're such a momentum-based team, the crowd's behind them, the crowd goes crazy, and then suddenly this team has so much momentum. Ballistix, they're trying to represent Korea, they're trying to be the first team to win, you know, BlizzCon from Korea, and then they lose this momentum, and Fnatic could just take the snowball effect going forward.
All right, well, I know I could talk to you guys about this for ages, but now we are ready to go into the draft here for game #1. It is crunch time. Tomb of the Spider Queen here, Ballistix versus Fnatic.
All right, already ETC banned away here from Ballistix. Fnatic is going to take away that Tastar as well, so it's a flexible hero. We've seen Ballistix play multiple times. Murden gets first picked here, which will leave them out of Furion and the Vala, one of the most heavily contested picks in this tournament.
What a time to be alive, Tread, seeing Tassadar being banned by Fnatic on this map.
Yeah, that is a good point. And already prioritizing a lot of the wave clear. Vala is one of the highest prioritized heroes when it comes to any wave clear map like Tomb of the Spider Queen. The Malfurion, a really high prioritized hero across the board in this tournament. So right now the team's sticking to very meta picks. Obviously the stab of Breeze with that ETC, pulling them away from that is a really smart move already with Ballistix, because MVP struggled so hard against Breeze's ETC.
It is the easiest place to start, I think, for this first game in the draft. Test and see, is this the weak point? If not, we'll make adjustments in the next game.
I think they are wise to target Breeze because his ETC has been incredible. They can lock out the tanks early on. They can even take Tychus here as well immediately. Another high contested pick here, ensuring that they do have that auto attack damage and also an anti-tank focus here, because Fnatic has been running 2 strong frontliners on this map throughout the entire tournament.
I just question, are they going to move into the Ario? She's one, since we already see the Malfurion picked up, she complements the wave clear maps. Instead, we see with a high Rhaegar prioritization from Ballistix. Typically, we do see them running it in kind of a double support. So I understand the reasoning for pulling away, but I want to say that this is probably some of the highest priority we've seen on Rhaegar, and definitely on the wave clear maps.
I wonder if Ballistix will try to ban Johanna now, since that would be maybe the next go-to, since she is wave clear, helping out with that on Tomb, and one that Fnatic was picking when they couldn't.
They do.
That's what they're going to go for. They'll force Breeze onto something else.
Yeah, it puts them in a dangerous position here because, well, it's now you're looking towards the, I suppose you could call it the tier 2 of Warriors. So where did they go?
I mean, I think the first thing you have to think is Leoric is pretty much a must-have. It's Fnatic, it's Tomb of the Spider Queen. Leoric is going to be the thing that they are looking at. The question is, do they want to pick it up in this rotation or use it as their last pick? Because you know Ballistix is expecting it, but it wouldn't be insane if Ballistix ended up picking up the Leoric themselves. So I think that Fnatic needs to put prioritization on that hero for Wabi.
Yeah, I agree here. Obviously, he's shown great play on it throughout this tournament. It's one of his best. And they're going to get choked out if he doesn't. We do see Zul is locked in first. They're going to prioritize that wave clear here. They already have Vala. They already have Malfurion. The Johanna was taken away. There is the Leoric locked in as well. So they do, as you say, Dread. They're going to leave that 5th pick open for flexibility as to what Ballistix is going to bring to the table here. And Ballistix could pick up a Sylvanas here, but we haven't seen them really prioritize Sylvanas as much in this tournament, as she's kind of dropped out of popularity.
I would like to see them take the Falstad. Even though Leoric is going to be rough in a solo support situation, or solo warrior, just the Leoric Falstad pairing, plus like anytime Quacknix is able to get his hands on that hero, it's really impactful, and it's kind of a soft counter, if you will, to Leoric's Entomb and the playstyle he has.
If they took something like a Falstad, would that then force some Quacknix onto something like a Jaina, or where would he go then?
Will he not play Vala?
Yeah, we can see him onto the Vala, I think.
Yeah.
It's just overall, right now, Fnatic almost having Leoric as a solo warrior is something you don't want, but so many have been removed from their arsenal that they have to have something backed up here, and the Tyrael as well. This is such a good pick for Ballistix.
It's kind of a Ballistix classic too. They like to run having Jungha play Tyrael as a second warrior, but also kind of a second support, right? He brings in more of the shield to help and makes it a very tanky composition overall, especially with one of those damage dealers being Tychus.
Now with Sylvanas here, obviously it's going to counteract some of the push power that Zul has, and obviously the Webweavers will gain massive value with this. And once you get Windrunner at 13, she's just, wow, Zarya coming in. And this is, you know, realistically one of the best options they had going. This is also going to help Vala in the front lines. Could allow Strafe to be used here as a very powerful heroic.
One of our newest representatives here in Heroes of the Storm, Zarya. We've seen her using Graviton Surge to great effect in the opening week as a warrior. And actually, it was one of the choices that Ballistic banned heavily in opening week.
That is true. I do think a bit of that was targeted specifically against Denial, was where we saw them banning it out frequently. And Denial had shown that it was one of their priority heroes, so I think that was more of a respect. But you know that they do respect the hero in general, so the fact that we have seen them end up picking that up, it's surprising. She was so prevalent early on in this tournament, kind of died out now, and then we see Fnatic moving onto her here. Is just absolutely awesome to see that work out. So They need to make sure that they're going to be on point with their synergy behind their composition, because their damage is a little weak, and Tyrael is going to be a great response to the majority of the heroics available for Fnatic.
I really feel like everyone else on the team is going to have to step up, because Breeze is not playing a hero that he's as known for, as strong with. Wobby got what he wanted. He still gets his Leoric, but everyone else is going to have to make sure that Breeze can get value, kind of on a support-wise type hero for Zarya.
But this is the great question. This is the true question of this first game, Gilly, which is, has the choke been enough? And then to allow Zarya to come in, it will really show us how versatile Fnatic is with this kind of pickup.
That is very true. Ballistix are testing Fnatic here, and it's a battle of styles. European standard style with Leoric onto wave clear heavy. They've got Zul and Vala and Malfurion to back that up. But we've got a standard ballistic style on the other side too, and like Wolf mentioned with Sylvanas, Fnatic need to be diligent in getting those first web weavers, because too much of a snowball and Sylvanas is going to take this game for Ballistix.
It can give you 10s first, it gives you sanctification, you can fight with Noblesse so much more aggressively.
Right.
He almost plays a game of chicken with his avatar. He's going to pop it at the last possible second. The Saint comes in, he gets his third wind, healing coming in, it's very powerful.
For me, the player who really needs to be on point here is going to be Smexy. On the Malfurion, he needs to make sure with the amount of ridiculous tools between Sylvanas having her silence against them, Murden's always a target you have to be worried for, and then anything with the Tyrael sanctification, his positioning has to be flawless this whole game, and he has to gain value out of whatever heroic he goes.
The draft as a whole, when I watch it, is crazy, because we see Ballistix as a whole seemingly.
He doesn't lose these.
No,
I've never seen him lose
Smexy
it.
has been spotted.
He has never lost on broadcast. He's never lost. We gave up.
Pretty well.
So what is interesting about this draft is Ballistix has approached it, and it seemed like throughout the entire draft, they were controlling it. Up until the point where the wildcard Zarya pickup came in. So is it that clean cut, or do we think that it is that much of a wild card?
I really feel like that's the whole question of this. Was the Warrior choke enough? And will Breeze actually play a good Zarya? Because if he doesn't, well, you know, actually more than that, really, does the rest of the team allow him to gain value? Because Zarya is not the playmaking stun CC focused Warrior. She's more based on doing some support and doing extra damage. So he's kind of moved away from these stun heavy CC heroes. And I do think that he can, you know, come up to the task, but it's really going to be about Quagnix to get value, to build up the energy, to allow him to do damage on Zarya.
Well, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, here in the crowd and online around the world. The grand final here of BlizzCon of the Fall Championship. Game number 1, Ballistix and Fnatic, take it away.
In the blue, representing Korea, Jungha will be playing Tyrael, Nitrogen on Sylvanas, Noblesse playing Murden, FCFC on Tychus, Swoy playing Rhaegar. Let's hear it for Ballistix!
And on the red side, Fnatic representing Europe. We're going to have Breeze playing the Zarya. Quagnix is on Vala, Schwippy on Zul, Mount played by Smexy, and Wubby on Leoric. Let's hear it for Fnatic! Crowd favorites. Fnatic, they're on the home territory when it comes to at least the crowd and the map itself. Sylvanas is a hero that we haven't seen picked too much this tournament, but we always know that she can be an absolutely terrified one when you can abuse her passive.
Yes, any of those battleground objectives that start to push down structures like Infernal Shrines and Tomb here, she will be a good asset to Ballistix, but it all relies, of course, is if you can get those objectives, and it'll be up to Fnatic to make sure to stop them and try to at least get the early ones, maybe snowball once they can get heroic abilities and take a lot of structures down.
And already Ballistix, as a response to the traditional 1-4 strategy that you see on Tomb of the Spider Queen, is actually going with more of a 2-1-2, if you will, having the Tychus Tyrael in the upper lane, trying to figure out where to make the rotation, adapting to wherever they're refusing the wave curve. But as I say that, the root going out already out the gate. Fnatic getting first blood here over Ballistix.
Schwippy finding Murden, and this is something that Fnatic have done very well this whole tournament. Not afraid to focus down the Warrior when they know they have the damage to do it, and in that case, they absolutely did.
Fnatic has been so vocal about them wanting to be an aggressive team, and over their European regionals for the past, they seem to have been the one waiting for their opponents to make the mistakes. They're going to be the ones coming out on top whenever you make them. But now, at this tournament, they seem to have learned when to pull the trigger, when to be the ones making the plays, and already here, 1 minute in, they have made that over Ballistix.
They're coming out of the blocks, swinging with aggression, and they've started, because of that kill, to have the favor in rotations, using Schwimpy and his passive, picking up those skeletons to burn down the ammo in these mid and top towers as much as they can.
I can't help but feel like the Tyrael is going to be such a crucial pick here for Ballistix. He's a hero that just his sanctification alone makes him a hero that we see at every global championship. And once again, he seems dominant here in this tournament. And so he needs to be sure that he's going to be on point, because Sylvanas' damage output in the long run's not that great. And if Tyrael ends up getting picked and he's not able to save him, they're going to be in a very rough spot when it comes to their composition. But for now, both teams have gotten a bit of the gems turn in, 16 to 20 here. And so far, not too crazy of a game.
The Tyrael versus Leoric combo. Actually, Schwimpy's in trouble, too far up there, and that'll be great punishment from Ballistix as they get their own first kill.
Yeah, Wubby's trying to get a counter kill here, but he's not going to have the ability to do so. Quacknix with the response as well. So both teams here, 1 kill on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Wubby's actually making the rotation onto Noblesse. He does have the Dwarf Toss, will get over the wall, and that third wind opportunity will be able to keep him up a lot. That is something we've seen actually hit or miss when it comes to a talent prioritization on Murden to level 1, but it makes his solo laning so strong.
Yeah, a lot of times we've been seeing more of Perfect Storm to help out, give him more damage, but in this case, helping to keep Noblesse alive for all of the damage. But what I wanted to mention is we had seen this Leoric versus Tyrael play earlier in opening week. I think it was between Dignitas and MVP Black when they played, and it comes down to how good is the Entomb? Can they get Leoric or get Tyrael away somehow so he can't use Sanctification to save whomever's in there? If that's what Fnatic want to be doing to get kills off of, to start winning the fight.
Yeah, that is a very good point that you bring up. And for now, the team's trying to goaltend around the turn-ins here. Gems being picked up, wave clear across the board. This is what Fnatic's thrives in, but we do see that there has been more turned in here for Ballistix when Fnatic is known for their playstyle on this map. All of the European region is they are almost always the one who gets the first turn in. So the fact that we have 41 here already primed for Ballistix shows that maybe not having the map control that they aspire to have here in game number 1.
Breeze has a lot of the gems for Fnatic if he could get those turn-ins, but guarding both turn-ins like a hawk has been Ballistix. Now Breeze is caught on the other side of Fnatic. Another kill for Ballistix.
Ballistix, perfect aggression. It seems like Noblesse patiently waiting in that bottom shrub and getting the Dwarf Toss over, securing 2 kills here already for his team. A very good playmaker. Nacho Jin now trying to get 7. Elun's Grains picked up on Malfurion makes him a pretty good goaltender. On the top half of the map, though, we see the attempt to turn in. And it seems as though Fnatic is not getting that zoning around the early half of the game when it comes to the turn-in that we've seen them have in the past.
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes in because there's good wave clear on the other side for Ballistix too, so they've been able to keep the lanes enough in the center that they can still run in between the turn-in points without getting too low.
That is the case. 9 attempted to turn in. Whoever gets the next one should be able to secure the first set of Web Weavers. And as I say that, on the bottom half, Ballistix now does have the momentum going into the favor. We're going to see if they end up picking up enough structures here. Again, opening up the map on Tomb of the Spider Queen only enables you to be more successful in getting those turn-ins in the back half of the game.
See what Ballistix want to do with Sylvanas and where Fnatic can make a stand. You have to be careful because it's not the same as defending versus Web Weavers. When your structures are turned off, there's the potential that Noblesse could go jump in as Muradin, and the follow-up could be very swift and severe to take out somebody from Fnatic. So they have to be very careful in this defense.
Great shield coming out from Breeze, helping Schwimpy be able to survive this situation, but the Sylvanas cripple on the upper half of the map. 3 people have rotated up here for Ballistix. They're wailing on the front wall, should be able to get it to even out the XP here in this game. The rest of Fnatic is worried about clearing out the rest of the map. Only a front wall for an early turn-in is not that bad of a trade-off here for Fnatic, considering Zul has already been able to ensure that himself on the upper half of the map, but Noblesse getting the Dwarf Toss in. Nobody there for the follow-up, but look at that Sylvanas passive. Nobody is being able to get on that Web Weaver.
Ballistix has seen that Fnatic have left Vala and Leoric in the other lanes to defend the other Web Weavers. So that allows Ballistix to be more aggressive at this point. But Fnatic haven't lost anybody. They're staying healthy. They're starting to burn down Noblesse. And miraculously, Fnatic saves all of their forts.
Yeah, the 5-man rotation here. Wubby's trying to get the flank as well. He doesn't have any major engage there outside of his skeleton swing. He's going to have to withdraw here, but he's got his E. He will be fine. And right now, that is not a big loss here for Fnatic. Yes, their composition, they always want to be able to snowball. Smexy has enough to be able to confirm the turn-in. Zoning there from the team. Quarterback's going to deny, or not deny that turn-in. And right now, Fnatic is able to turn the tides here as 10 is closing in for both of these teams.
And the lanes are already pretty pushed for Fnatic. This is good. We saw earlier the top towers were down. Fnatic have locked down Muradin, Noblesse with Bone Prison. But the cleanse gets him out.
Yeah, the cleanse cooldown might be something we see these teams try to abuse if they manage to hit 10 before it's off a cooldown. I don't think that'll be the case quite yet. Zul is trying to help aid the Web Weaver up above, the Auric on bottom. This is what we see quite often here from Fnatic. They have to be a little patient right now because, again, 10 has been picked up for Ballistix, but once that completes, expect them to be looking to get the forts, opening up the map. It is so, so crucial here on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Dragon Laser Drill as a pick for Tychus instead of Commandeer Odin. And sometimes when we've seen this, it has been for more focus on structures, dropping it down, protecting it, and allowing it to burn down something like a gate later on. Rhaegar gets taken out, Fnatic find a kill just as they get 10.
Yeah, don't need to worry about the cleanse cooldown when he can't cleanse himself. Fnatic's able to pick up a fort on the upper half of the map as well, doing a very good job controlling and dictating the pace here on Tomb of the Spider Queen as they seem to make a small rotation in the mid lane. See if they can get a bit more out of this situation as Rhaegar is still yet to spawn.
Another tower mid, the Web Weaver's gone. Fnatic almost have enough for a second turn-in in a row, and some gems were lost from Ballistix when losing Rhaegar. So that's another bonus win from that kill for Fnatic.
It just should be noted that Zarya ended up using Heroic in that situation. Great dodge from Quacknix there onto the Stormbolt, but that is very crucial cooldown to keep track of here as we move into the team fighting because it is a must-have when Sanctification can negate so much. As I say that though, they're going in very aggressive onto Zarya. Cleanse coming out in Tomb as well. The Zone Priest is absolutely pinned there. He's trying to withdraw the strafe over the wall, getting a lot of damage, and the Wailing Arrow on the 2, Noblesse doing so much damage, confirming 2 kills for nothing so far. Wubby trying to get more out of this though, Gilly.
Twilight Dream came out too. Fnatic still want to go into this fight. SCSC is low, but he's way in the back. Zul gets taken down. It's a 3 for nothing for Ballistix. Make that the 1. Wubby finds a kill.
Yeah, Wubby has so many gems on him now. He cannot risk the death for his team. 58 gems are still in the hands of Ballistix here as the experience is pretty close to even, but we're going to take another look at this team fight. The Entomb pinning Breeze in the corner, sadly not going to be able to withdraw.
Now, Wubby was trying to help get his teammate out, but Noblesse jumped over the wall and found Quacknix there, who was trying to safely strafe away and throw down that damage. There's an Entomb on Nacho Jin. Smexy Freezer there too. Here comes the Graviton Surge. Wubby going for the swing. Sanctification gets Ballistix out.
That was a lot of cooldowns from both sides. The fact that those are not going to be available for Ballistix, even though nobody gets a kill, Fnatic gets the upper hand there because the force back on the side of Ballistix as their Web Weavers are up pretty much means that they're going to gain little to no value, especially on the Sylvanas with their passive. So very good job here from Fnatic. Their cooldown trades were worth it for a short period of time, but they are going to want to hope those are back up as they will be getting to the secondary Web Weaver phase after Ballistix get these pushing down.
And Fnatic wants to defend these without losing too much because they did lose about 20 gems in the last fight, losing a few people. And the push will go bottom for Ballistix. All 5 members here, and again, with other members from Fnatic in every single lane to defend, Fnatic have to give up this first fort.
Yeah, Fnatic with Schwimpy up above. A very good rotation coming out from Ballistix, trying to capitalize on the missed position. Tyrion's out drilling was down though. The Entomb coming out onto him. Keep in mind, Sanctification not available, but look at how tanky that hero is. Nobody there for the follow-up, and Wubby now has to wait it out. Entomb's a short cooldown though, but Sylvanas is going to force the issue, knowing that it is down.
Yep, the jump has happened onto Wubby too. This fort falling rapidly. Fnatic are ready to go into the fight. Here comes Schwimpy from the side. Jumping into, the Skeletal Mages are down for the slow onto Ballistix. A follow-up straight from Quacknix, doing damage. Cleanse on Muradin, Noblesse. Using Avatar, will he jump back in?
Yeah, Entomb is still off cooldown. Same with Zarya's Heroic at this point. We have 9 seconds for that up. Twilight Dream is available, but the health bars for Ballistix are slowly withered at here where Fnatic is full health. So they end up getting with a draw. And again, those fights in opening up the map, if that fort's not there, maybe Fnatic can keep pursuing this team fight. But as I say, that Wubby now is patiently baiting himself, using his E. The Entomb hitting him against the wall. Sanctification to deny. Graviton Surge coming out, Gilly.
Sanctification denied both of those heroics to Entomb and Graviton Surge. It's a perfect placement of that Fnatic pretty far up. Has hit Nacho Jin going in aggressively. He gets taken out. It's a 1-for-1.
It's a 1-for-1 4-for-1 trade here. You see Wubby trying to get the slow there. SCSC taking so much damage, he ends up getting his running gun out of that situation. And now that is a winning trade here for Ballistix, representing Korea. Half a level lead. They have a structural integrity advantage over their opponent's gem advantage as well. They're in control. As I say that, the Root and the Twilight Dream being burnt onto Noblesse. Cleanse from Soy will be able to ensure the Dwarf Toss out. And right now, Ballistix has a pretty significant lead over Fnatic. They're going to have to be able to turn around. That Sanctification is getting so much value. It is just making every power play Fnatic has, it just hits a wall.
It is, and it wasn't even just Entomb that time too. If you could use Entomb to maybe use Sanctification, it's a shorter cooldown Entomb is, so maybe that would be a nicer bit. But to use Graviton Surge and have it negated from Sanctification is such a difficult moment for Fnatic, because that's pretty much everything used to lock down people, to get kills out of that, and they just had to walk away.
Yeah, we need to see Fnatic ensuring that they have all of their heroics available when they do get those engages, because first engage will be denied by Sanctification. The secondary one, that is where they need to be able to get the kills if they're going to make this happen here. But now Sylvanas is pressuring the mid lane here. 5 versus 5, 15's here. Level 15 is picked up for Ballistix, as they are having a small advantage on the race to 16, the third most powerful talent here in Heroes of the Storm.
But Fnatic are not too far behind at this point. They're keeping up the wave clear. They haven't had a second turn in yet. They unfortunately have been losing gems pretty consistently whenever Ballistix punishes them and takes some of them down.
Yeah, the gems, 33, 29 turned in here for Ballistix, 21 still available to them. Tensions high between these teams. Rhaegar is going to get the clear. They're waiting on the 16 as best they can, trying to goaltend, ensuring that that 33 is not going to be turned in here for Fnatic. And it's such a safety move here at this point in the game, even if you don't have the full turn in yourself, ensuring that if you lose a team fight, that you don't lose your bank, if you will, of gems, makes it to where the counterplay is still available, even if you full 5-man wipe. So Fnatic and Ballistix are going to be looking to make that happen here.
Well, the 13 talent tier is a nice safe one for Fnatic. Extra shields for Zarya, Ice Block for Muradin, Gloom for Volat 2, but without 16, this is the point where Ballistix wants to engage. They don't have 16 quite yet themselves, but now, just as they get it, they go in for the fight. A perfect time. Wailing Arrow is out. Twilight Dream goes down too. Volat is the first to fall. Twilight Dream has lessened the health bars of a couple of members of Ballistix up in the front, but Breeze is caught out. Body block taken down.
Sanctification barely keeping Jungha alive. Sway there with the heals, as well as Wubby has to withdraw. The Root not going to be enough. Noblesse hits a perfect Stormbolt, and that is 3-for-0 here. Ballistix, 16 talent tier advantage, enough for a turn-in, possibly a boss here, have full control over game 1.
10 kills to 4 for Ballistix, and they head straight to the boss. Lots of damage between the 3 heroes here, and with still 14 seconds left, they know that it's going to be nothing really that Fnatic could even do to defend this. The only nice thing for Fnatic is there is a sliver of a fort. Actually, as I say that, it goes down to minions, so this will be heading toward keep tier structures.
This is such a huge power play. Ballistix, you have Sylvanas on your team, a boss pressuring on top. Web Weavers are going to get the follow-up. Maybe not perfect timing stacking the 2 on top of one another, but they are going to be looking to get a keep. And honestly, it is probably very realistic that a keep is the least that they end up getting in this situation. Expect Jungha to try and get those holy grounds between any of the structures that they possibly can, zoning out Fnatic. There he goes for 1 attempt, and expect more between the keep and the turret there.
Ballistix choosing safety to make sure that the Web Weavers will be pushing back further. Noblesse and Jungha jump in, trying to, once again, like you said, get a holy ground that might be able to give them the kills needed to end the game here, but the boss is nice and healthy, and the Web Weavers have only just now dropped.
If they do not use Sanctification, they have the opportunity to use that onto core and end the game, zoning there with the holy ground. Wubby's in a rough spot, Dwarf Toss in straight, trying to peel everybody away. Web Weavers and the boss wailing in as the Wailing Arrow ends up hitting. Sanctification negates Zarya's heroic at this point, and it looks like Ballistix is not done with Fnatic as they try to go in. Twilight Dream, so many beautiful rogues hit here.
Ballistix are starting to get pretty low, but they get a kill on Wubby. Noblesse barely staying alive, and Ballistix will walk away with full health bars, taking down 1 keep, and Web Weavers pushing still in 2 other lanes.
That was such a good position to be in if you're Fnatic, largely because, again, if you didn't use the Sanctification at that point in time, Ballistix had full opportunity to just keep disabling the keep, move in with that boss, move in with the Web Weaver, Saint, and proceed to ignore your existence as they will at the core. But now, 2-level lead, Ballistix, again, just absolute control in this matchup, and I can't help but feel that Rhaegar or Tyrael have to be the focus fire here for Fnatic. They have to find a way to force the Ancestral or the Sanctification in a position that they don't want, while they still have either Entomb or Zarya to be able to get that engage when those are disabled.
Well, 38 seconds left for Zarya until she has Graviton Surge left, and 33 for Twilight Dream. However, Fnatic, they kind of need a fight right now. They need to fight before Ballistix have 20 and have enough gems again at that point for the turn-in that would almost certainly win the game.
Yeah,
it's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when top lane is the only fort that is down on the side of Ballistix, meaning it's the most ideal lane to get the engage. As I say that though, Holy Ground trying to split the teams. He will be able to survive this situation for now. Great root coming up from Smexy. Swimpy is still yet to join the team, so you know Fnatic is on the retreat, and even with Ballistix not having the 20 yet, they do not care. They are absolutely maximizing the value of Nacho Jin on that Sylvanas.
Graviton Surge is ready. Wubby's starting to move in, seeing if he can find somebody with an Entomb. There's a lot of people with Escape, so it has to be the right target. They need to try to get away. Wailing Arrow has hit the back line. That's one thing down for Ballistix, but there goes the jump in. Twilight Dream, as members come in. Ice Block, but Smexy is so low, he's the first to go down.
And Noblesse diving the backline onto Bala. 3 people already dead here. Wubby's trying to retreat with Breeze, and already Ballistix with such a controlling team fight there. Move on to the keep with top keep already dead. They're not even questioning moving on to the core yet. They end up securing the mid keep. They're going to be moving on to core. And with 2 warriors left, I don't think Fnatic has what it takes. Ballistix is probably going to be able to take game number 1 here against Fnatic at BlizzCon 2016.
Ballistix in convincing fashion at 15 kills to 4 on the battleground choice for Fnatic, taking game number 1. The Sanctification, man.
The Tyrael was the sole reason Ballistix's composition was so strong. The isolation on the Warriors, putting Fnatic onto the back foot on their selection, then taking mid-tier engagement heroes, one of the Warriors, the Entomb, Zarya, both of them struggle against the Sanctification anytime that you couldn't bait it out in some way, shape, or form. But with Ballistix's positioning, it was just not possible. Very good, very almost flawless execution from them across the board, minus maybe 1 pick early on.
I thought Leoric was supposed to drain hope, but it looks like Ballistix just decided to say, actually, you're not really going to kill us towards the later stages of that game. As you mentioned, the Tyrael, fantastic play coming out of Ballistix there in game number 1. We are joined by Wolf again here, and how was that from your point of view?
I mean, we just saw several clutch saves. Wubby, again, an amazing Leoric player. How many Entombs did we still go down? Isolating a target, Cleanse goes down, you see a Sanctification go down, Sylvanas gets away. We see so many moments where they just nearly get a target, but then the fight turns on them. The one clip I want to focus on really is the turning point, I feel, of this game where Ballistix takes a huge lead. If you watch this, I'm going to roll it forward just real slow for you guys. This is where we're going to see Clognix gets isolated here. Jungkook goes in hard, and you do see Noblesse jumps in, gets the stun here. There's the follow-up Wailing Arrow. No vault available here with the silence, and Clognix just gets blown up. Now Jungkook goes deep. Meanwhile, Graviton Surge will go down here to isolate some of the members of the team. But notice what Jungkook's going to do here. In just a second, he's going to jump back. He's going to give shields here first to Noblesse. Noblesse heals up, and he gets insanely low as we see another stun go down for Noblesse. But Jungkook's still going deep. He's still blocking everyone out. And at the last moment here, in just a moment, he's going to Sanctification himself to survive. Once Breeze goes down, the rest of the team is going. He's so low, but with the perfect Sanctification here, they're able to turn this team fight. There goes the heal from Swoy, and that the rest of the fight is history. And with this battle, Korea was able to take the boss and just push forward for the win with Sylvanas as their aid.
It feels like a recurring theme throughout that first game was that Ballistix were able to get very deep into the back lines and exert so much pressure on people like Quacknix, etc. Do they then have to now, in moving forwards in drafts, have to consider those kinds of things? Because it did look difficult for Fnatic to deal with.
Well, normally, what you like to have versus a dive like that is something like Twilight Dream. You wait, and then they jump in, but late in the game, those 2 targets, Jungha and Noblesse, were so tanky that once they were in, Twilight Dream, as we saw there, just didn't really do anything to help save Quacknix. It didn't make them feel like they had to run back at all.
Yeah, and the Sylvanas pickup for Ballistix, I think, really kind of rounded out that composition in a beautiful way. Tyrael was more concentrated on the team fights, and then Sylvanas makes it to where, even though, yes, you may have the wave clear and the map manipulation that Fnatic absolutely adores on Tomb of the Spider Queen, she's going to be able to negate that one turn in. We can fully capitalize the same way you could, but without the natural wave clear. The 4 heroes that are drafted solely on that purpose on the side of Fnatic, and together it was just a very responsive composition that was well thought out from Ballistix.
We asked the question at the beginning of that game, which was the Zarya going to do enough to kind of warrant the pickup during all of that craziness where they limited the Warriors. Did it? And then if not, like, how impactful was Tyrael on that?
I feel like Tyrael was obviously more impactful in this game because Quagnix was isolated, especially in that one team fight I highlighted. Zarya gets value if you can keep targets alive. You build your energy, then you get more damage too. But if the targets you're trying to keep alive are caught away from you and die, then it doesn't matter. So I wouldn't put the blame here on Breeze. I would just say that basically Ballistix outplayed them in this case, targeted down the damage there, didn't allow Zarya to get value. And I think it was just good drafting by Ballistix. I don't think this is necessarily bad play on the part of Fnatic, just really good play on the part of Ballistix.
Well, of course, that is game number 1 in the books now as Ballistix take the 1-0 lead. We're going to go to a short break, but when we're back, it's the continued grand finals here of the Fall Championship.
The Heroes of the Storm Fall Championship is sponsored in part by Intel, T-Mobile, NVIDIA, and Republic of Gamers.
The Master has been gone for so very long. I anticipate his return in every gust. It's maddening. Whatever is one to do to pass the time. I've gone and made a mess. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. Our unannounced visitors. Preparations must be made, for the Master will return to Karazhan soon.
I was once a far strider. I swore an oath to defend Silvermoon and its people to my dying breath. It was not enough. My homeland still burned. But those days are long past. And history will not repeat itself. I am Sylvanas Windrunner, Queen of the Forsaken. And if you will not serve me in this life, then you will do so in the next.
The Heroes of the Storm Fall Championship is sponsored in part by Intel, T-Mobile, NVIDIA, and Republic of Gamers.
An absolute packed house here for the Fall Championship as we watch two of the very best teams in the world duke it out. The atmosphere is electric. We are already into the draft here for game number 2 between Ballistix and Fnatic. So we can jump in. It is Sky Temple map, and they are very, very deep in already, with Tyrael coming in as the 3rd pick here for Fnatic to round out where we already are. So what are we making so far of this, guys?
Well, it looks like, obviously, again, Ballistix is trying to lock Wobby out of ETC. So as Fnatic this time has 1st pick, they will pick up the Muradin. So Wobby at least gets to play a CC-based hero here. We are going to see Tyrael picked up as a result going further into the draft. And the Brightwing ban we see here for Ballistix is obviously because this map is so large. We see Brightwing prioritized very highly along with Falstad on this map in Korea. So they've already taken one of the global heroes and denied one from Fnatic.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Fnatic has been playing global heroes all over the place, but especially on Sky Temple throughout this tournament. So Ballistix are denying that, not only with their bans, but picking up Falstad too. And Falstad is a big pick for Fnatic. They have been playing him a lot. He's a comfort hero for Quacknix since as long as I have known Quacknix. Yeah. So all very understanding of their opponents in this game too.
Yeah, the drop in prioritization when it comes to the globals for Fnatic in this draft is something that I think might come back to haunt them here. The response of the banning of the Brightwing was really heads up, and then Fnatic goes, well, okay, well, if you're not going to have, like, allow us to have that many globals, then we're just going to remove all but the Falstad already off the table. That makes Li Ming go very deep into the draft, considering it is Sky Temple. But I do like the fact that we have Tyrael picked up as a response to Falstad. He's a pretty successful hero. I mean, Tyrael, I can't help but promote the guy. He's good at everything he does. There's very few situations where he is going to be a bad pick here, and he seems to be becoming more and more prominent as we get to the finals of this tournament.
When you look at Muradin and Tyrael in the hands of Ballistix, obviously it's very powerful. We've seen the combination between Jungha and Noblesse work incredibly well already in game 1. So it looks like Fnatic may be trying to accomplish something similar here, but will we be able to make the plays that we've already seen from Noblesse? That's the question here, because if they don't have a solid melee assassin coming up with this draft, Tyrael's not going to gain as much value. But we could, see a strong melee hero coming in here. Like, for example, they could pick up Greymane. There he is. He's going to come in here. So this feels very Asian. In fact, what we're seeing from Fnatic's draft here, they're going a little bit old school. They're going for the Sanctification, double support with Tyrael. It's kind of a secondary support here. Something we saw a ton in the Summer Global Championship.
The question is, can they do the deep dive as well as Ballistix did?
That is the question, and they're up against Malfurion, so it's a similar situation with the potential that they're going to be going up against Twilight Dream there. Wondering what the last pick should be. Jungha's pick for Ballistix. No Tyrael here. We saw him play Thrall before, but I know that he liked Zeratul on this battleground specifically. They played it versus MVP Black twice in the Super League.
Yeah, this is a great pick for Jungha, one of his best. He's considered by many to be top 3 behind Reset and Rich on this hero. And if played correctly, he can really put the hurt on Greymane. If he's solo laning, they're going to have to keep map vision of him all the time. They don't really have that many reveal heroes. And I think part of the onus here is going to be on Wobby. We'll be playing Tyrael here to put the shields up and make sure that the Qs that we see from Zeratul don't get a lot of value when he's harassing, when he's poking.
I can't help but feel like Ballistix has absolutely manipulated the draft in their favor the same way we saw in the first one. They made, Fnatic made some changes personally, and then Ballistix said, okay, if that's the game you're going to play, we are going to do exactly what we want into his Zeratul, playing onto his best map. Again, you brought up how Jungha has been successful against MVP Black in Super League with it. It's a direct response to the Tyrael pickup, and it's on one of his better maps, and it was all because Fnatic made 2 major adjustments in the early half of their draft, and Ballistix goes exactly what we wanted. And so right now I feel like Ballistix is in such a driving seat in this series.
Yeah, it seems to me like in banning ETC, they knew that, okay, because Fnatic had trouble with the Warrior pool last game, they're probably going to pick Muradin, and we will adjust. So they're always one step ahead, and this comes down to the Void Prison versus Sanctification and how that is going to interplay.
There's always that as well. I mean, if they do end up going very deep, I suppose Zeratul is there as a countermeasure to allow the entire team to go deep and then isolation, right?
Yeah, there's also the ability to follow up a Void Prison with a nice Gust. You can follow it up with a big Root from Malfurion or a Twilight Dream. There's so many combos here for Ballistix, and 2 of the Ballistix members, SC and Noblesse, ex-TNL members, we all know how much they love their Wombo combo style. They're big Zeratul fans themselves. SC, the ex-Zeratul player, in fact, for TNL. So, of course, he no doubt is imparting some of his knowledge onto Jungha here in this hero.
I think that Fnatic has a composition that definitely can do it. I mean, we talked about how it was prevalent in the past. This strategy is definitely, it's very old school, if you will, and it has the opportunity to, if used perfectly, completely obliterate Ballistix as long as Zeratil's not there to counter the momentum. But again, I think that their window of opportunity is so limited with the options that Ballistix has made in the back half of their draft.
The question is why don't we get Thundersticks? I want Thundersticks. They get to have all the fun. Whatever. But I want to ask the question, which is, Fnatic here at the moment, they're approaching this map in a much different way to how they have all tournament long with those globals. Do you think that they can find success here, or has the draft been for Ballistix very, very strong?
I think that the draft for Ballistix, global-wise, the big problem is that Fnatic doesn't have an answer for Falstad. But I like what Fnatic is doing here. What they have drafted is insanely solid. It's very emulating of what we saw from Korea and China, especially going into summer and the early part of fall. So I think that if they can team fight better than Ballistix, they can win this match. But I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. Ballistix is one of the best team fighting teams in the world.
Right. Well, we are ready. We are ready for game number 2 here in the grand finals. Ballistix leads 1-0 currently. Let's get hype as we go to Sky Temple, Dread and Gilly.
Game number 2 here of the grand finals. Ballistix is going to be on the blue side. Jungha is going to be playing Zeratil. Nacho Jin on the Falstad. Noblesse on his love Johanna. SESC on Li Ming, and Swoi playing the Malfurion.
And in the red, representing Europe, Breeze will be playing Muradin. Quacknix on Greymane. Schwimpy playing Tychus. Smixy on Rhaegar. Wubby playing Tyrael. Let's hear it for Fnatic.
The crowd being such a support here for Fnatic.
The sixth member.
They are, I mean, it felt that way. There was moments where I saw, I mean, specifically, I feel like Sake had moments where he wavered, it seemed, in his confidence in his play. And a lot of it, I feel like, does come down to that crowd. There's such support here behind the Fnatic guys, but at the same time, I mean, how can you not? These guys have worked so hard to be where they are. They are in a position to where I don't think anybody in the world thought that they would end up being. And now we see them at the grand finals of the biggest tournament we've ever had in competitive Heroes of the Storm.
These two teams are duking it out for pride, for the glory of world champion title, and a $300,000 first place prize. There's a lot on the line here. And Fnatic are only down 1 game. They have such good teamwork and synergy and a composition that is going to require that this game.
Absolutely. Swoi waiting in the shrub there, trying to maybe see if there is a bait from Jungha. Right now, the teams seem to be concentrating on just splitting on focus on pressure on opposite side of the maps from one another. Fnatic and Ballistix, neither of their composition necessarily is overly successful when it comes to sieging, but the fact that Wubby has been left alone for that long, and Ballistix was the team to make the first rotation, they do have the upper hand here, and now shots are going to be spawning for the map here on Sky Temple. Whoever ends up making the first shots and getting the first couple and making that rotation, especially Ballistix with that Zeratil so sneaky in his transitions, he usually is going to gain a very big temple swing in their favor.
I wonder how they want to set up for temples, because with Ballistix already getting so much in this top lane, I thought maybe they would just want to head up and start this top temple right away, because it's going to put shots onto the floor as soon as it takes down the well. And that puts Fnatic in the position where they will be taking similar. They did get 1 tower in mid, but that siege definitely favored Ballistix starting out.
Yeah, we do see that Fnatic has gotten in the shops a bit earlier, but not enough to be able to make that solid rotation. Typically, if a team is going to be able to stall in the upper half of the map, maybe you see them rotate later, but that isn't the case. As I say, that great body block onto Noblesse. The root coming out from Swoi, trying to peel. Tyrael throws down his Q. He's going to get in front of him. Smite has been used, but everybody wailing onto Noblesse. It doesn't matter. Swoi's healing is going to be able to keep him up. And so what looked like might have been a first blood opportunity was negated here for Ballistix. Fnatic trade shots, and the teams just kind of play the patient game, you know, feel it out for one another.
But looking at the setup for the next temple phase in the bottom lane, the whole time Greymane was pushing down there, and that has helped take down the towers. Smexy rotated in slow as the SESC. First blood for Fnatic.
That disengaged a body block, Quacknix with style, Beautiful bait coming out from Fnatic there as they end up getting the first kill for this game. But again, that is not going to mean too much here. Death timers are still relatively short. The teams are actually, Fnatic is struggling when it comes to, as I say that, they even out the forts right away. So never mind, everything seems to be relatively dead even. A lot of the focus now is going to happen around the second shrine phase. So now, because we know it's going to be spawning on the bottom half of the map, everyone knows the common rotation. Giants, Knights, timing that around the 4:30 mark where that is going to come into play. What we have to consider is the only global is going to be in favor of Ballistix, which means that rotation could be very detrimental to Fnatic if they don't play these next couple of minutes perfectly.
Yeah, I want to see how they get set up, both teams get set up for the Bruisers specifically, because Nacho Gen has pushed this top lane far forward as Falstad, and whoever gets to have the Bruisers up longer, whoever is the one who leaves them out, is going to be in favor. But Falstad's flying down pretty early on, looking to see if they can get a setup. Breeze has caught him, stunned him out, dwarf toss over the wall. Quacknix stays safe, but gets pretty low.
Yeah, Smex with a very clutch heal there is barely going to be able to keep him up. And just look at how Ballistix, this is something I feel like no other team has done. Anytime that they feel that they have an upper hand, they are not afraid to sacrifice resources in other lanes just to push the issue, gain that experience onto the map. They're like, you know, we don't need the minion XP, we're going to get that structural experience. And all that does is exponentially speed up the map that is Sky Temple, the shots and the rotations. But again, we're at that 4-minute mark. Knights are taking here for Fnatic on the upper half, and we won't have that Falstad global situation that we kind of, or at least I alluded to in the earlier half. So we'll see if they can take this fight, because it's going to be a flat-out brawl.
Well, Ballistix had already gotten that fort, so I guess it wasn't as necessary. They didn't feel like it was as necessary for them to have the Bruisers pushing onto it. But I had noticed that about Ballistix too. They tend to keep 4 people generally together, and it makes it a lot safer and harder to get picks from the other team. Only having one person split soaking as much, and then everyone else feeling freer to move around and look for picks themselves.
Yeah, and that fort falling down means that if Fnatic ends up losing one person, Ballistix can be in hot pursuit of them. As I say that, Li Ming gets stunned out. Good cleanse coming up from Soy, going to peel off SC shots now going over to Fnatic for a short period of time. They are trying to get the engage, but again, that fort now is still available for Ballistix. They have an easy withdraw, and they're just, looks like they're going to just back out on the shots. They are not worried about it. They got what they wanted out of it, and that is a fort.
Falstad goes back up into the top. The Bruisers were starting to do some damage to towers, but Fnatic want to make sure that they actually take down this fort, jumping in, getting a kill onto Johanna, and bringing down the bot fort.
Such calculated aggression. The minute Falstad represented himself in the upper half of the map, Europe and Fnatic just instantly engaged. Now they have an experience advantage. The 10 mark is a huge one, so they end up moving into the boss. They know they can do this. Nobody is going to be able to get 10 now. We need to keep in mind that if somehow Ballistix ends up getting 10 in time, they do have the opportunity to fly down to Gus, but nobody's soaking in all the lanes to be able to make that happen. And so Fnatic, smart abuse of their power spike here. They back out, they get the boss. They need to now rotate to the upper half of the map. That is going to be wailing away at bottom keep. Somebody has to answer for Ballistix. That could be free siege damage on the top half for Fnatic, and it looks like they agree. They seem to be making that rotation here, Gilly.
Amazing understanding from Fnatic to know exactly how long it would take for Ballistix to get heroic abilities and how long it would take for them simultaneously to bring down the boss. And that's something that Fnatic have shown a lot in this tournament, is picking up bosses. They're scary. They definitely scare us, but they've been making it work.
They are scary. Now, you know what else is scary is the fact that the rotation for Fnatic has been so slow that everybody seems to be moving up here. Ballistix has such a good punishing composition if you overextend in your sieging potential. With Void Prison, you have Mighty Gus as a possible flank as well, and they recognize that situation. Ballistix made that rotation, and they're going to back out here. Now Fnatic, a half-level experience advantage over their opponents. It's structural integrity, roughly dead even, a little bit of an advantage here for Fnatic. And they are going to have to show that their team fight in this composition is going to be well executed as they seem to invade these Knights, or Giants.
Yeah, Breeze knew that somebody was probably going to come down from Ballistix. The Giants were the only place to find any sort of opportunity for a fight and to get some push on the battleground. And Ballistix rotation comes in time to be able to steal their own away. Now, not feeling so comfortable in moving over the halfway point of the mark, Fnatic will pick up their own just in time for the next temple phase.
And again, because the structures are in small advantage of Fnatic, boss was taken already. The bottom doesn't gain near as the value that you typically see. So we'll see if Ballistix tries to maybe abuse the fact that they do have that global and kind of risk the shot somewhere, but instead it seems that everybody is making that rotation down below. Keep in mind, Johanna has not been scouted. She is sitting in the shrub up above, maybe getting a flank. As I say that, she moves in to peel for Zhengha, and as Tyrael moves in to get those early shots. This is chokehold fights for that sanctification is so crucial.
SCSC is pretty low in health, moving on back to make sure to get healed up. Those heals don't come immediately because it's Malfurion. There's always a point for a Void Prison, and that's it. That's where Jungha found it. 4 people inside of it. The Gust on Breeze. Sanctification comes out, but Twilight Dream and Tychus gets destroyed, as does Greymane. 2 kills. Jungha going after a 3rd, takes out Spexy. Does he? Shield's so good. There goes the kill.
That stun onto the Malfurion to try and negate it, but Breeze, actually the warrior here, going in, turning the fight. Wubby has no mana, he has to withdraw. He has his passive though. SCSC is a bit too healthy, and so they end up turning that fight, almost making it even here, but I can't help but focus on the fact that Breeze, the minute the Void Prison went down, stunned the Malfurion, trying to ensure that they don't get that combo. It did kill everyone, but it didn't matter. It wasn't enough. They ended up securing so many kills. The Twilight Dream getting a lot of value in that fight, and now Fnatic, we talked about their execution and team fights have to be almost flawless, and they were just 1 step away from being able to turn that with a beautiful Sanctification. Not quite there, but again, they didn't lose too much. They still have those opportunities. They aren't going to be a Talenteer behind for a while. Structurally, they're still going to be okay. But for now, Fnatic can take a step back, take a breather, think about their situation, and hope that their next Sanctification is going to be a bit more successful.
Yeah, Fnatic know exactly what they need to do to make sure that they can turn the fights better, and in getting some kills, they ensure that they didn't get too far behind at this point. Now, both teams are just trading out on temples, as the top one being picked up in about a level lead for Ballistix. So as Ballistix continue to win these fights, they're going to get further and further ahead at this point, but there's still time at this moment for Fnatic maybe to find a fight and be able to come back.
Yeah, and the Void and Twilight Dream are still up at this point in time. The shots are very limited here. Fnatic, actually, Tyrael is going to be isolated. They're going to get choked in. They do have the Void Prison available, and Jungha just getting the harass. Blackmist trying to get on the response. Wubby is trying to get the 1v1 up there. Swoit is not going to be able to heal him. Go for the throw, wasn't even used, and he gets deleted. Wubby is not done. There's no fort to retreat. Quacking's trying to make it happen with the Twilight Dream. The turn, no Ancestral.
Sanctification, though, seems a few more members alive, and Fnatic can try to continue this fight. They take out Leave Me, no more resets, but Rhaegar goes down. This fight is so back and forth. Drill being used.
The passive!
Boom!
The Ice Block! The Ice Block denies it! It's Swan tries to withdraw. The Raze is going to say, not today, and that is 3 for 3 in an absolute bloodbath.
Schwimpy out of mana, Breeze almost out of health. Nachogen moving back in. The drill's going to show exactly what he's doing. These fights have been way back and forth, but it feels like each time maybe Fnatic gets a little bit further on, a little bit better, but Breeze now is a problem just as the rest of Fnatic would spawn. Breeze can't get out of here.
Schwimpy is Ned going to be in a bad spot. Does he have the nade? No. And Fawcett's going to be able to barrel out of here. And slowly but surely, Ballistix in this absolute bloodbath has been able to secure themselves a 3/4 level lead and turn the tides when it comes to the structures here, as they are almost dead even. Fnatic's looking to get that 16 bosses now spawned. They have nobody up. The boss control for them is going to be Holy Ground. Not available yet. Sanctification, 6-second cooldown. They let it go. They're going to take Knights, and they know this boss is given up for free. Ballistix is going to try and force, and keep in mind, sieging into a Zeratul with Void Prison is so difficult. If they group a little bit too much at one point in time, again, Void, Root, combo, and you could potentially lose the game.
Exactly. Fnatic knew they didn't have 16, and Ballistix had that tier with Void Prison not being used because he was killed early on in the last fight. It was available, as was Gust. Those are way too good. A boss control heroic, and Fnatic, with a lot of melee heroes, might have trouble defending this huge push, this giant siege for Ballistix.
Absolutely, and here it is, 16 still just barely out of reach of Fnatic for now. Ballistix is trying to just wail at it. The laser is going to be burnt down. Great job from Nachogen getting the harass. Jungha confirms its death here. 16 has now been picked up for Fnatic. Are they going to try and move past? Holy Ground available as well. As I say that, they move in. The Root, the Bot Slam, and Twilight Dream. One's going down, and that's a Void.
Perfect execution of those heroic abilities, and Void Prison has been hit, no less. Wanting to go after the 2 members inside, but Sanctification as they come out. Jungha shuts on Ancestral Healing. Smaxy with the save on the Quacknix.
With that Roots! Oh my goodness, reset after reset. SCSC!
Oh, there's 1 kill. Falstad taken out, but it's just Quacknix against the world. Ballistix are pretty low.
They're cycling out the tanks here because they are so low. The splash damage on the core gonna hit Zhengha. Noblesse is still wearing it 40%. Quacknix doesn't know what to do. He doesn't have enough. He dashes in. SCSC throws on the laser, confirms the kill, and Ballistix takes game 2 over Fnatic here at the Grand Finals.
It was a closer game for Fnatic for sure, but still, Ballistix just constantly slightly better in these engagements. The one time, really, that it seemed like there could be hope for Fnatic was taking down Zhengha on Zeratul before he could Void Prison. But even then, members were low, and the return attack from Ballistix was on point.
I am claiming that pairing, the Void Dream, today. Anytime that you can get the Void Dream, it is so difficult to be able to deal with. We saw moments where Breeze tried to isolate it to ensure that that combo wouldn't come into play, but between Li Ming and her opportunity to get resets, great play coming out from Sway across the board to be able to keep targets alive. Fnatic the whole game just slowly praying for that moment where they're going to be able to finally come back in the experience, not worry about that talent here, but Ballistix never gave it to him.
This starts to really feel like, you know, what we kind of saw in the last Grand Finals, where some of these Korean teams get out-rotated early. Fnatic is actually dominating the map, but at the same time, when it comes to the late game, because they just keep winning those crucial team fights that win them the games, the early game doesn't matter.
A closer game, but Ballistix are really good at this video game. So, Wolf, looking at that as a whole, I mean, where do we even begin? There were massacres of fights, absolute massacres across the board, and to the point where 2 members from each would still stay in without healers, etc. It was crazy.
I want to just show you guys 2 clips real quick as we jump into the first one here. This is going to be an amazing Void Prison. Zhengha comes in. Let's slow it down here. He comes in here. Now, knows Breeze is about to get isolated. Nitrogen waits for the perfect angle, pushes him away. Now, Breeze can't help out the team. Then immediately down goes the big stun, and Zhengha is in there, gets the kill before the Ancestral goes off, and is looking for Quacknix once again. So 2 damage dealers already gone, and from that point on, this fight was essentially over. Zhengha just pushing Smexy away there. Does end up going down, but Nitrogen continues the chase here. Noblesse to help for zoning, and this is the first big win for Ballistix there. You can see the skill of Fnatic as well, trying to turn this around, getting another kill, but you can just see, again, I want to focus on the isolation, the targeting there. Fnatic stays too long, and that's the end of the story in that first fight.
You could even see great movements, I think, from Ballistix. And I mean, all of these players in general, but you see the Stormbolt at the very, towards the mid part of that, trying to hit onto Sway, but he moves through the wave knowing that Muradin has no opportunity to hit him during those things. So there's small, finite details. Even when Tyrael used his trait to blow up a wave instead of go to a Li Ming or something, because he knows that he'll get guaranteed value there. So there's such small details playing here in this final, right?
Absolutely, and then when it comes to small details, the second clip I'm going to show you guys just real quick is just some of the punish power here from Ballistix. So notice Breeze here is found without mana. Noblesse comes up here and catches him. Now, we see right, if you slow it down, you can see Tychus is rotating up to try to come help out. So here's Swimpy. He's also out of mana. Breeze is going to get super duper low. He tries to come in and help out, and Breeze does get killed here. Zhengha rotates a little bit faster, and notice Nitrogen continues to fire. Swimpy targets him down. Noblesse body blocks him here, allowing the escape, and they get another kill. Just showing kind of the mechanical skill of this team, as well as their ability to punish movements like that.
And now Fnatic are 2 games down in this best-of-5 final. What do they have in them to come back? Because at the moment, it is looking very, very tough.
Whatever they have, whatever is left, has to come out now.
Right,
That's all it is. They have to bring it out. I think a lot was probably used just in their semifinal to get through MVP Black. They thought that that was their final, so what is left? That's the big question.
Yeah, I mean, they showed a very strong draft in the final game against MVP Black that had explosive potential with that Medivh and things like that, but I think our next map is going to be Warhead Junction. Does that kind of draft operate on as large a map as well as it did on a smaller map?
I think the global game that we typically see out of Fnatic is going to thrive in this type of situation, but I'm also a bit terrified in the sense that if we see that playstyle coming out from Ballistix that we've seen in game number 1 and 2 and in Super League, I feel like this game is going to lead to, okay, there's a couple nukes here and there. It's relatively even. There's a 1-level spike. There's boss. That's game. I feel like Fnatic absolutely needs to get their hands on globals. Stop trying to be adaptive. You beat MVP through your global map manipulation. Concentrate on that, even if you feel like it's throwing away some of your prioritization.
Well, it is last chance saloon here for Fnatic. We're going to go to a short break, but when we're back, game number 3 between Ballistix and Fnatic.
The Heroes of the Storm Fall Championship is sponsored in part by Intel, T-Mobile, NVIDIA, and Republic of Gamers.
Another round?
Ah, Gadget Sand! Gadget Sand, where the gangs rule the streets. Gadget Sand, full of swindlers and cheats. Set on sail, you're ring-a-ding-ding on the mean streets of Gadget Sand. Welcome to the big time, pal! On the mean streets of Gadget Sand. Now who's got the upper hand?
What's in the name? Well, that depends on what you do with it.
That's your name.
The Heroes of the Storm Fall Championship is sponsored in part by Intel, T-Mobile, NVIDIA, and Republic of Gamers.
Korea versus Europe rages on here in the Fall Championship Grand Final, live from BlizzCon in California as we get into game number 3 here. Ballistix leads 2-0 and the draft on Warhead Junction has already begun. So we are going to jump right on in to find out the progress as to where these two teams stand. And so far we're seeing that Fnatic is taking C's of those globals, which are oh so important on this map.
I absolutely love that from them. Again, looking at their success against MVP Black, a lot of it was all about their abuse of globals. And like as Wolf brought up, how the early game and their aggression doesn't really matter because by the end of the game, that team fighting and map manipulation is just not as successful. I think when Fnatic does get those globals, they can carry that through the late game. That they don't have to, like 2 of their victories over MVP were just boss calls alone. Yeah. Just making the right boss call because they limited globals. And so I think this is a beautiful first step in this game.
I would have to agree with you on that. I feel like the global presence, that leads towards their strengths, because if you're looking for just team fighting, a team comp that allows you to do that, even if you have the perfect composition, it seems like Ballistix is just mechanically better at that stage. I think it's better for Fnatic, especially on this map, Warhead Junction, to use the global presence to grab those nukes, you know, get those warheads, take control of the early game and try to snowball it so hard, take an early keep, do something that allows Ballistix to, or rather forces Ballistix to be in such a position where it's so hard to recover, rather than try to go into a mid game where you're only slightly ahead. I say go all in on these globals.
Ballistix not wanting to let Fnatic get too many of those, whereas wanting to ban Dahaka and did. Now Fnatic are going to get Tyrael because, again, like in the first game, the warrior pool is starting to grow thin. So they want to make sure that they don't get pushed into the same position they were in that first game, because it was hard for Fnatic to ever really get an engagement with the Zarya comp.
And with that Tyrael pick, even though there have been a large amount of warriors removed from the table, it's just, again, it's kind of the story of, you know, Zeratul is such a great response to Sanct, but also Sanct is kind of a response to Tyrael, or excuse me, Void Prison as well. So hopefully it's going to be used to greater effect. Even in the replay that Wolf had brought up, when they did use the Sanctification as a response to the Void, everybody actually was scared and ran backwards because that's your natural habit, where Sanct was off to the left and aggressive. You would have had a far more proper response here. So hopefully the synergy from the teamwork and Sanctification comes into play here in this game for Fnatic.
Well, with Fnatic, what they've chosen so far, with the Falstad, Tyrael, Tassadar, and Brightwing, it screams some sort of big melee assassin here. There are a few still available. For example, Thrall could be chosen here.
I mean, could it even be something like a Tracer available to them?
I think it's a Tracer
on their side too.
Yeah, with the Brightwing, I think I would expect him to move into the Tracer. I think it's a bit more appealing coming out from them. Overall, actually, I would say I think it's very, very likely they move that route.
All right, what is Ballistix going to take, and what are they thinking about realistically here when looking at Fnatic's draft?
I think Rhaegar is almost a given here, unless they're looking to go a little bit crazy and take something like Uther to empower that ETC. There's the Rhaegar. Obviously, he's one of the quickest supports with his Wolf Run to roam around the map once he takes that at level 1. This is one of our larger maps, so that's going to be the obvious choice. The follow-up choice here, though, not as obvious. Now, Tychus is still available, something we could see in this draft. Of course, his ability to eat through Tyrael, whatever 5th pick Fnatic brings up, if they don't go with the Tracer. So really, it's up to Ballistix as to what they're thinking about what that last pick for Fnatic is going to be.
I like the Tychus a bit more just because he does have a stronger chance than a lot of backliners that we expect Ballistix to move into to succeed against her in a 1v1. If she is a bit low and she tries to dive onto him, she's going to be forced to use a recall relatively early comparative to like a Balla, for instance, especially if her combo is going to be down. I don't think it's a must-have, but I think it's an appealing pickup here for them.
Li Ming could be played by either Nacho Chen or SCSC.
Oh, the Chen. Okay. Still
One
deals.
of the rare occasions where I think we'll get to see Zeratul played by SCSC instead of Jungha.
That very high chance that will happen, which is obviously great to see. As I mentioned in the previous game, it was kind of his main hero for a long time, and Jungha's picked up a lot of his skills from SC, so bringing back an old classic here. Now for Fnatic, I mean, Tracer is still on the board, but it wouldn't be crazy to grab something like Thrall. The problem with grabbing a Thrall here is when you have this much tanking with the ETC and the Chen plus a strong healer like Rhaegar, it's going to be hard to find enough damage. You're going to have good CC, but you're not going to find the damage to get kills.
But I almost feel like Tracer falls more into that trap than even the Thrall. They do lock in the Tracer.
So, cheers, love. Tracer is here.
The cavalry's here.
She is. So, Thrall would have something like, you know, you could get Giant Killer, Tempest Fury at 16, but Tracer can pick up Quantum Spike, which does do that big chunking damage if they want to go after one of the warriors, like even ETC.
Right. It's going to be absolutely beautiful to see Jungha and Schwimpy kind of going head-to-head. The skirmishing, the mobility, the assassination potential from both of these characters, Tracer and Zeratul. They're going to have to be on point. Jungha's already shown that Zeratul, at least Ballistix, has overall, and that Fnatic is yet to pull out the Tracer, so Schwimpy needs to show that those clutch picks like his Medivh versus MVP, he actually is going to perform. He will be the clutch player.
When you combine Tracer with Brightwing, it's one of the most terrifying gank things that you could see in the game. You even have Falstad who could come get involved with his global presence as well. So basically what Schwimpy's going to be looking for in the early game is building meter, building up his pulse bomb, then he's going to look for a gank. Brightwing comes in with a polymorph, but if he doesn't gain value, I feel like the draft of Ballistix is much stronger. This is a big risk for Fnatic, but when you're down 0-2 in the grand finals, sometimes you have to pick out risks like this on Warhead Junction. I really like the choice, but we'll see if it gets value.
Fights will be quite split across the whole map for sure, and I'm happy to see another Brit in the finals. So, of course, I want to go down the line and get your predictions as to who you think is going to take our third game here, considering the draft.
Starting with me, I'm going to have to go with Ballistix. Put my hat on here.
I'm glad that you
my headset.
Yeah, that works really well with the headset.
It looks great, right? I'm going to have to go with Ballistix 100%.
Yeah, I think Ballistix have everything going for them at this point. They're strong, they want to close this out here, and I think they can do it.
Drafting has been the tale of the quarterfinals and grand finals here, and I don't think that the third game changes either. I think that Fnatic has a reasonable approach and something that fits more to what they're used to, but it's not enough. Ballistix has got it.
They are a strong team at the moment for sure here. Fnatic is going to have to pull out quite the game to get themselves back into this. It is going to be right down to the wire here for Fnatic. It's their last lifeline. And if they do come second, that means we have two back-to-back second place for Europe here in BlizzCon. So big thoughts. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We went from first to eighth, so I can't judge.
I'm pretty hyped that Korea, if they win this next game, we'll have our first Korean BlizzCon champion. In 2014, we didn't have a Korean representative for the Invitational. 2015, DK got knocked out in the semis, similar to Black. So parallel storyline there. But on the other side, you have Ballistix looking so dominant, defeating Dignitas in the semis handily, and now might just take that 3-0. It's a big win for not only this team, but also for the nation of South Korea as a whole.
I mean, and it might not be as perfect as maybe MVP Black at the Spring Global Championship, going undefeated through the Global Championship. Losing one game over to Dignitas, very respectable performance if Ballistix is able to lock in a win here.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys. What does he look like?
I can't take him seriously.
No, not at all. Never did anyway to begin with. All right, we are ready to get into game number 3 here. It's the grand finals, of course, here between Ballistix and Fnatic. Last chance for Fnatic to get it going. Gilly and Dread, take it away.
I want to hear you make some noise for this team, and they are one game away from being the global champions. It is Ballistix Gaming with Jungha playing Zeratul, Nachojin on Lee Ming, No Bless playing ETC, SCSC on Chen, and Swoy playing Rhaegar.
And on the red side, representing Europe, it's the team that has stole the North American crowd's heart. Breeze is going to be on the Tyrael, Quagnix on Falset, Schwimpy playing Tracer, Smexy on Brightwing, and Wubby playing Tassadar. Give it up for Fnatic, their tournament lives are on the line.
Fnatic choosing an unconventional battleground pick, going to the America map. Trying to make heroes great again. We'll see if that is enough to throw off Ballistix' groove, to bring it back and take it to game number 4.
It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. He is absolutely the crucial point here. And then again, Breeze, we see Breeze playing the Tyrael. They have to have the synergy as a team. I do expect Smexy with the teleport and with Smexy on the teleport and then Tracer, the dive. Wolf alluded to kind of the strength that combination has. I do expect a bit more synergy coming out from them and possibly some kills. But again, Zeratul is such a hard tool to deal with. He is just such a powerful character all around.
Dread, something that happened in the European regionals, I believe, was pairing Tracer with Tyrael, but it was not Sanctification.
Judgment, that is true.
Judgment with Quantum Spike,
onto Rhaegar.
and it blew Rhaegar up.
I actually forgot about that. That is a very good point that you bring up. We might see the Judgment opportunity then. The isolation, get the pulse bomb on, and it's not even just to Europe specifically or alone. A lot of the regions have actually come out with that playstyle, more so NA and EU than the rest. So I didn't even think about that. This is a very good point that you bring up. We might see a Judgment, which is not something you ever say at every World Championship.
And in the grand finals to boot, well, they've got Tracer rounds on Tracer, and that could help if they have vision on somebody who has gotten low after Tracer has put damage down.
Smex.
We go right in from there. Smex's body
Polymorph's already down.
That is the power slide. First blood for Ballistix.
Patience there and the timing there with the map objective spawning right away. You're going to hope that Fnatic just at least gets a bit of a delay and ends up using the Brightwing teleport to come back. And it's in their best interest to try and go blow for blow in this first nuke phase.
In the bottom, Rhaegar's being zoned out of that nuke, and Nitrogen's trying to pull this nuke into the mid, and Smexy has phase shifted in. At least it was Brightwing who went down. She had a low respawn timer since earlier on. Jungha's getting pretty low, and Breeze is starting to rotate up, as is Falstad. Quacknix flying in.
Yeah, Tesla getting the delay. Polymorph coming on to Jungha. He hits it back and get the tap. Chen is on the withdraw as well. Smex starting the channel. Li Ming ends up missing her missiles. She has to throw the orb, ends up landing, but the delay is there. Wubby trying to stall, get the shields out as best as he can, but somehow we do see that Fnatic with that double support composition is just bullying them off. Quacknix just doesn't even care. Nukes in their face, and this is going to be both nukes going over to Fnatic, even though they lost somebody at the direct spawn. Very well played here from the European representative.
Later on, something like that may not work out so well for Fnatic, but because it was Brightwing who could phase shift in as soon as she went down, Fnatic pick up both, wanting to make sure they can actually throw out both too, though, because there is time when Ballistix could maybe try to get a kill, stop Smexy, and then steal the nuke away. Wubby, the bearer of some damage from Ballistix, but it is Tassadar, so he has some escape.
Another thing to note with this composition that we didn't bring up is with Pickaboo picked up at level 4 for the Brightwing, the reveal onto the Zeratul. Also, we have Tassadar is going to be another great tool for the reveal, so not as much free harassment coming out from him as a hero, and that is a lot of the value you see from him. Yes, he isn't an absolute stealth in the sense that you see that shiny little glow onto the map, but it still helps in so many situations because you can't keep track of absolutely everything, and then Zeratul, that little glimmer just somehow makes it past your focus. So really good tools here for Fnatic to be able to try and deal with the Zeratul pick for Ballistix.
There's some other tools that they're bringing in too. We've got Seasoned Marksman and Hammer Gains this time for Falstad, so more of an auto attack build. That is the first pulse bomb. It does hit Soy, but he's pretty low. Here comes Quacknix flying in. Jungha gets taken out.
Quacknix with a beautiful flight in. They caught up in rotation here. Fnatic ends up committing so many of the resources, and we talked about how we know the globals fit to Fnatic's playstyle. They have always been pretty good in the early game. The success, the aggression, no longer being that passive playstyle we saw with them in Europe, but now they have to carry exactly what we've seen right here through the rest of the game. They do have two globals at their disposal. Let's see if they can keep this up here, because again, it is an absolute must. Otherwise, they're going to be going home.
Fnatic have been making sure to split soak all three of the lanes. SCSC has been doing some damage. 2 towers in top. It's him playing a Chen instead of the Zeratul we thought we might see, keeping Jungha on that hero. But Smexy has kept a hold of this nuke. Have not shot the second nuke off yet.
Jungha picking up the camp, the polymorph, the engage above. Great dash there from SCSC. I don't think he's going to be able to make it out. He bruised and he falls. Fnatic here showing signs of life in the tournament. The nuke you talked about a bit earlier is going to be used here in the upper half of the map. And Fnatic slowly gaining advantage. Such a great play coming out from them so far. And even though I put a lot of focus on Schwimpy and his pick here, it seems to be the least impactful so far for his team, and that could be a great sign or a very bad sign for them. So we're going to have to find out as we move in later into this game. We now have one of the most terrifying sessions for nukes on Warhead Junction. 4 of them going to be spawning with 2 globals for Fnatic. That should be a very good position for them, but they have to make sure they keep track of Zeratul because he might be able to get a pick. Such a great 1v1er.
Fnatic have a lot of people who can stall out pretty safely too. Schwimpy being a good one, Tassadar another safe, Psionic Storms, and that's allowing Fnatic to bully the side that should normally be safe for Ballistix to pick up. Meanwhile, on the bottom, the supports are duking it out for those. Falstad's already picked up 1 nuke, so there's 2 nukes left.
Yeah, Zeratul ended up getting his as well as he makes the rotation down, so it's going to be a 4-man skirmish here, but only 3 people there for Fnatic, so they're at a disadvantage. Are they going to be able to get a pick? Meanwhile, on the bottom, there's a skirmish as well. Rhaegar is on the retreat. Now he's going to join the team. Wubby, though, ends up going down. A lot of harass onto Noblesse. Schwimpy's very, very low. Swoy, 2. But it looks like Fnatic ends up losing this, but they did end up picking up the nuke on the lower half of the map in the process. So, you know, it comes down to the trade-off. Are you going to get more value out of that nuke and experience than you get out of that 1 kill? And I would argue that's probably a winning trade here for Fnatic. Very well done from them, trying to use their map control.
And another part of that win is having a mercenary camp that was pushing in the top lane the whole time. That's already where some damage had been done by a nuke, and the top lane tends to be where teams often end up winning the game because there's a boss there. You could use the boss, you could use the dukes, push in, and then take out the core from that side.
Absolutely. SCSC, bit of pressure. Keep in mind, he did go Storm, Earth, and Fire. Sanctification was picked up, so it's not going to get the Judgment Dream in isolation there. Everything else seems very standard across the board. Pick off onto Schwimpy. A big caught out Fnatic, or excuse me, Quacknix going a very aggressive. Jungha gets the Ancestral right before the Gust isolation. Now he is out of position. Stage dive coming in.
Quacknix is in trouble. Slows down. He wants to trade out for Jungha, but doesn't get it. Nacho Jin gets a reset and a kill.
And most importantly, ends up getting that nuke. He tried to dispose of it before he ended up dying, but the bird corpse is left there, and the nuke is left over to Ballistix here. They end up channeling here as they siege up. This is the exact moment we were talking about for Ballistix. They're so good at just forcing any issue that they can. Screw the experience elsewhere. We're going to start sieging up, make you answer to us, and they have another nuke still into their hands.
We'll see if they want to use that nuke now. Use it maybe on the 4 in mid that has sustained some damage. Push in as well and start to get some keep damage to opening up a win condition on Warhead Junction. Fnatic doing what they can to push back Ballistix. They'd love to take that nuke back, but it won't be the case. Soy is safely behind his gate, but Jungha caught out in action.
Throwing out the lightning round, getting the pick. Quacknix here on one of his better heroes. Another thing we didn't really bring up too much when it comes to the drafts picked up for both these teams is bosses. Bosses are very important. The second map in the game, Warhead Junction, to actually have multiple bosses. Tyrael with the Holy Ground Sanctification, 2 of the best boss control heroics, or at least tools in the game, and another one is going to be the Mighty Gust, whereas you only have Void Prison that's really that effective for Ballistix. I mean, everything else that they have, maybe you could argue Wave of Force, but it's not that impactful typically until it gets to the 20 tier here. So we'll see if Fnatic's going to be able to use that aspect of their draft.
Update on seasoned marksman stacks. Quacknix is about halfway done with that. Did pick up secret weapon to go along with it. So very focused on auto attack. Probably Giant Killer to come into at 13 once they get to that tier.
13 tier will be picked up for Ballistix before Fnatic. A terrible timing for Fnatic. 16 seconds for the map objective to spawn, and they are not going to have that 13 in their sights. Schwimpy trying to get the harass here, dashing into everybody. Ends up burning 2. Jungha gets the Vorpal Blade. Tatsadar front shields from Wubby will aid him. But again, they need to buy time here. The fact that we do have Fnatic, with Quacknix specifically, is in the top lane, getting the channel. Li Ming teleports in, is going to be able to get the stall as well. That was a very big play coming out from Nacho Jin there. Very heads up, map awareness, and barrel roll in here from Quacknix.
Ancestral healing has to be used. In the back, no bless. Stage dives in, and Fnatic are split apart. Wubby dying. Aziratul going down too, though. It's a 1-for-1.
It's a 1-for-1 trade here, which is going to be big. Storm, Earth, and Fire comes out. Schwimpy's going to get the dash. He's looking towards Noblesse. Quacknix is trying to stop his retreat. He does have a nuke here. So does Swoy. Quacknix is in a bad spot. Power Slide, great cleanse is going to help him. He barrel rolls over the wall.
And that will be Quacknix getting away. SCSC starting to take damage. The fight is not over, though. There's still 1 nuke left here as 1 is shot off by Ballistix.
Yeah, and the channeled nuke there is going to get a lot of, is going to be a great position here for Ballistix now, not risking any of the nukes for their team. There are only 1 at this point in time. Great Gust is going to get the isolation. The polymorph is well cleansed onto the Chen. He will be able to brew. Keep in mind, we've had enough time for the members to spawn. They're coming back. Jungha has his Void Prison. He might be able to look for the engage. Great Oracle from Wubby. Will spot him out, though.
Schwimpy is on the chase for Jungha. Polymorph from Smexy. Noblesse running into Quacknix with Lightning Rod on Swoy, and he's doing a ton of damage to Rhaegar. He takes him out!
Auto attack, Falstad skills so hard. Nacho Jin blinks, he goes down. Schwimpy, absolute playmaker here on that Tracer.
2 kills for Fnatic, and Fnatic will get to pick up a nuke. Now can push in, take down the fort, and they're looking at a boss.
They're going for the boss. The Void Prison is up, but with 2 members down and only 1 global, it doesn't matter. This is going to be a free boss. How many nukes do we have in control here? Fnatic has 2 nukes in their hands. This could lead to a keep. A lot of experience going to be available considering the top 4 is there as well. That will be a 15-15.25 power spike, but they don't care. Ballistix is still looking to force this issue. Jungha with the Void. Tatsadar is not there. Sanctification. Gust. Nukes go down. Void goes down. It's going to be timed perfectly. The nukes go in. Is it going to land? Breeze is in such a bad position.
Breeze just got hit by a nuke too. Breeze is going to go down.
Nobody's on point.
On the point. They have to put Smexy on the point. He goes into ice block. They've taken action. Fnatic's gonna get this.
And they get the boss. 4 for 3. Oh my gosh.
Wubby rotated up in time, but now he's in trouble. He's
was like, I didn't even know whose nukes were nukes, like whose. They were just all over the place.
But Fnatic got the bus. They got the bus.
I mean, what do we know? We know that they traded an advantage of Ballistix in terms of the kills, but the boss did go over, giving the fort. Nukes have been used on both sides. None are going to be available for either. And so it is almost a dead even game at this point. Structures are pretty close to even. The nukes even. It's all going to come down to experience too. It's all going to come down to who's going to be successful in this next team fight.
10 kills versus 10 kills.
What?
Our closest game yet. Here's the hiding. No Blast has been spotted. Breeze threw out Holy Ground to try to zone, forcing No Blast through this path. Cleanse stops Polymorph, and Ballistix gets out of a sticky situation.
They do. The Cleanse, great job. Actually, Quacknix isn't done. He goes up. Noblesse a little bit out of position as well. Holy Ground's not going to be a perfect. Schwimpy, though, isn't stopping. He goes deep, gets the recall back. Nitrogen over the wall has a huge orb potential. That is Gus to try and peel out, and that was very close there. Schwimpy being aggressive and almost didn't pay off for him, and Nitrogen is not done. He's not going to let them retreat. So many cooldowns have already been used. Sanctification still available. Quacknix is stuck there. There goes the stage dive. Sanctification, they're going aggressive. Polymorph, the Ancestral through the void. This is not, are they going to be able to confirm?
There's the boss 2. Ancestral comes out, so that has saved Noblesse. Heroics, so many heroics used on both sides.
And now the nukes are spawning, camp pressuring the bottom half of the map here for Ballistix. Quacknix is just brawling the Polymorph. Yes, and Stormer Fire's not going to go off. 4 nukes are available. Ballistix sends 2 to the upper half. Rhaegar's going to get the cap onto the bottom. Nobody's going to be able to make it there in time. So even though they end up losing 1 person, 2 nukes here in favor of Ballistix. As I say that, the flight from Quacknix up above, they're spread all over. The battle is happening everywhere. Wabi's in a bad spot. Spexy's going to be there with the Polymorph.
How did he do that? Quacknix comes in. It looks like it's going to be 1 versus 2. Wabi gets in time. Smexy with the save again for his team.
I cannot believe it. We talked about the focus on the globals and how good Fnatic is. Can they carry that global pressure we see every game in the early game to the back half? And they are showing that yes, they can. 2 nukes go down. Top keeps sitting at half health. The bottom camp has been removed, and it looks like Fnatic is trying to ensure the fact that this dies before Zeratul gets up. Void Prison, 25-second cooldown. This should be theirs.
Nuclear launch detected. They're gonna get it. They're in drops. First keep of the game goes down, and it's for Fnatic. Gus to disengage.
And they end up getting the blink kill out. It's going to have another one available. The stage dive trying to stop this. Wimpy takes a lot of harass. Holy Ground's trying to split. Smite is going to give them beautiful movement speed to escape, but Smexy's out of mana. If he doesn't have enough for the blink kill, it is up. Power slide, he just barely. And everybody for Fnatic is going to be able to get out of here as the first keep of the game falls for Fnatic.
Fnatic's on a roll this game, starting to open up a way to win. That boss will be up in a minute 30 for the top, and that could be a huge problem for Ballistix. They know it. They've got to get a lot of pressure. They start with getting their mercenary camp in top to negate any catapult pressure in this top lane.
Such a great showing here for Fnatic in this, what could have been their tournament life. They do have that small advantage, looking cool, calm, and collected there in the bottom left of your screen. The bosses are what everybody's going to be worried about in this point in the game, because again, they just do so much damage, especially if you compare it with a nuke. 1 nuke is only available right now in the hands of Ballistix, specifically Swoy. He's a beautiful kill target in the sense he can't ancestral himself, so see if Fnatic's going to be able to capitalize on that. As I say that though, they start the boss. ETC's on top, but he does have stage dive. They're trying to zone. We've seen this from the before. It worked against MVP Black. Will it work against Ballistix? They're going in. Holy Ground gets the split. He doesn't care. He dashes over. That's going to be a stage dive, Gilly.
Stage dive is in. No blessed by the point, but he gets polymorphed and has to power slide away. Smexy is pretty low, and he's going to use his...
The point only hits 1.
He's used Ice Block. The boss is so low.
The Gus is still available. Gus is still available. If they commit to the Storm, Earth, and Fire, diving onto Smexy, everyone is split. The boss is throwing out the Banelings to Holy Ground. That is going to be Gus. No boss control. Smexy's gone down. Storm, Earth, and Fire is getting ripped through. Breeze as well. He doesn't get through. They don't let it rechain completely here, and it looks like Ballistix is going to be moving on to the boss. That call, so risky here. Wubby gets his passive proc. Schwimpy is trying to ensure that they do not get this boss. Everyone's so low for Ballistix, they won't get it.
Schwimpy has Pulse Bomb. He has Pulse Bomb. He gets the kill. That's a kill.
They're on the chase. Boy, you got a nuke. Quacknix goes in. SCSC trying to drink. He is going to not survive.
The crowd is roaring for Fnatic. They tie up the kills 2 for 2.
Everybody's so Zhang has blood in his eyes. He goes on to Quacknix. The shield's gonna keep him up. Great bait. There's Tracer. The reset. And Wobby, you have no mana. I'm sorry, my friend, but you're gonna be going down too. The nukes are up. One is already in their control. Boss as well. Everything has fallen apart here for Fnatic.
Incredible punishment from Ballistix. Even being down some members, Fnatic staying in despite being low on mana, and that has been their demise now. 3 people who aren't here to help contest with the nukes, even though Fnatic is slightly ahead in experience. And now the nukes going down, trying to help Ballistix secure their level 20 Storm talents.
Yeah, these nukes have been used relatively early here for Ballistix. As we hit the later half of the game, they have spiked in power. And the fact that we're using those on forts, again, I can't help but promote the idea of opening up the map. That is never a bad idea. Vision is so difficult to obtain, and minions are your best resource for that. But also with the strength of them, the fact that we are sacrificing these on forts rather than keeps might be a decision that could really come back to haunt them. That it all comes down to if they have enough for that boss, because the boss nuke combo is so hard to deal with, and it also Fnatic has, or at least Ballistix with Zeratul Void Prison is a tool to be able to stop that if somehow Fnatic gets those nukes in their hands.
Especially because we're past the 18-minute point, so
Yep.
These are starting to be very
They
strong.
don't
That's
care,
when
man.
the nukes have upgraded. Here we go again.
How many bosses can Fnatic start? Can Fnatic start? Can Fnatic start?
How many
All right.
bosses can they take?
That's a better question here. All right, let's look at it. Saints up, holy ground, Gust, everything. SCSC sniffs it out. The Panda's there. Stage dive's there too. Blink will be able to peel away. Great force wall with the isolation. They do let the reset onto the boss. Freezes in a rough spot. Cleanse comes out, so does Gust. Now that's a lot of boss control.
That is, and Fnatic knows it. Starting to move back. Schwimpy does not have what they need for pulse bomb yet. The start of this, the catalyst to be able to take someone down.
To be fair, he gets a lot of free value off of the SCSC. Every time he goes to try and get that brew,
Yeah.
you see him trying to stack that pulse bomb as quick as he possibly can. As we say that, though, Ballistix has reached 20. Same with Fnatic. What's going to happen? Again, we see them stacking, forcing the issue, and the camp pushing on the bottom half, so it will be wailing away at the key front wall. Wobby takes harass. Zhangha's pinned against the wall. He has to blink, and you see him go. He's trying to get away. The Void Prison used just on the Quacknix, but look at the damage from the Li Ming Saints and the Blade out.
Ancestral Healing keeps Nitrogen alive. That enables Ballistix maybe to start getting some resets. SCSC has gone into Storm Earth and Fire, and the jumping in from Chin. There is a big choke point, but Zhangha is low once again. Chin is back. It's only Storm left.
That's a keep. They were buying time. That's all they wanted. And the minute that they get that, they just nope right out of here. Noble S is in a bad spot. Schwimpy's on the pursuit here, but it is, you can literally look at it. The fly in. Noble S stage dive, but he gets Polymorph. The cleanse, he goes down.
Polymorph perfect once again from Smexy. A quick kill for Fnatic, and now again a boss is up.
Yeah, that keep is just one shot. It is pretty much dead here for Fnatic. So they are in a bad spot here. Tass might try and clear it out. Brightwing going in. Nitrogen's in a really bad spot. Polymorph comes into play. He's gonna barely survive the Storm Shield. Schwimpy with the recall. Nukes.
Pulse bomb did not connect. Zhangha though, still gonna take it out. The nuke's gonna come down and hit. He flies out. He flew out just in time to not get hit from the nuke. How did he get out of there? Another kill.
Yeah, and now the nukes are spawning, and they don't care. Everything about Fnatic is focused onto these bosses. Chen gets polymorphed. He does not have Storm, Earth, and Fire. The nukes, again, have spawned. They're all over the map here. 2 on the bottom, 1 in the mid, 1 in the upper half. With 2 people dead, this is where they're going to go into the boss. This is going to be their focus. We don't have any nukes, 1 nuke in the hands of Wobby on that Tassadar. That's actually your prime target to have it on. He is so difficult to be able to kill with that double E build. 13-16. Schwimpy is going to be going aggressive. They need to get these picks ancestral very early. Polymorph use.
There is the stage dive 2 on to Smexy, but he had his Ice Block available. Sanctification goes down to try to let Fnatic get a kill. Pulse bomb was down, but Stormer Fire allows Chen to stay safe. Breeze trying to get out for his life. He has no mana. He's been hit. Polymorph is no left. Tyrael take it down, but he's going to go in with this passive.
Oh, but Schwimpy tries to tag the backline. He gets the recall. It's a 4 for 4. Wobby's in a bad spot. Again, he's hard to kill. Quacknix is not stopping. He gets the pick. The stun coming up. Keep in mind, Zhangha is rotating right now. Zeratul is moving in. He has Void. This could be a bad spot. Fnatic, are you too greedy? Panda goes down. And now it's 4 for nothing. He flies.
The fly is there. No
Is he going to Gus? He's trying to save it for the boss. Noblesse eating a lot of damage. That void is only going to hit one person, and that's not the target you want. Noblesse now in retreat. Quacknix says, beef, it's what's for dinner. Will he get it? He gets the W, and he goes down. That's 5 people dead. I think Fnatic's been able to do it. They show signs of life. The nukes come out, and they're going to be able to turn it around and make the series 1-2 for them.
Not just a team wipe, not just a boss nukes, plus a team wipe. Augusta out, Quackix flying over the court in style. Fnatic have brought this series back, and they are keeping their hopes as global champions alive.
You can see it on his face. And I can't help but put focus onto the draft. They stuck to their roots, and Fnatic looks like a different team. I expect the rest of the series, they are going to be worried about the Dahaka, about the ETC, which, by the way, there's no way Ballistix ever lets them have that hero. But the Falstad, the Brightwing, this is where Fnatic suddenly becomes the monster that is BlizzCon version of Fnatic.
It's incredible to see that they have been down versus teams many times in this tournament, and to keep their composure, to know what needs to work. Yes, they have brought a game back, taken a game off of Ballistix, but that's only one game. They need to win the next 2 to stay alive.
Absolutely amazing is the best way I have to describe not only that game, but that fight towards the top. Instant reaction, the best fight in Heroes of the Storm history.
It was crazy. I didn't choose that replay because you guys saw it for yourselves, but I do want to highlight, I do feel that in this game, Fnatic outplayed mechanically in these team fights, the Team Ballistix. Now let's take a look at this fight here. We see the stage dive come in. Now watch what Noblesse can do. He tries a power slide, but already immediately the prediction there from Tyrael. Down goes the Sanctification, but there's a counter Void Prison here. But Fnatic is patient here. They move away from the boss, and no damage really goes down here as they disengage. So basically just showcasing that Fnatic in a terrible situation there. Perfect use of Sanctification to turn a bad situation into a good one.
It felt like, for the most part, Warhead Junction here promoted the idea of chaos. And it seemed that Fnatic thrived a little more on that than Ballistix did. Is that fair to say, would you say?
I mean, I think so, and it's not the only team that I've ever seen kind of do that. I would argue Denial Esports from the North American region at their regionals really thrived when they just confused every part of the team fight that their opponent thought they were going to get. And I agree with you. I feel like those globals kind of put that onto Korea to where a lot of what they thought they knew is just out the window.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think sometimes in this series, you could see Ballistix underestimated their opponents in fights. We saw some beautiful turnarounds from Fnatic. Going into the second clip here, I do want to show you guys that Fnatic will turn and chase here. Now look, everyone is insanely low on Ballistix right now, so let's run it through. So Shrimpy is going to target down Noblesse. He goes down first, but he's not done yet. Immediately targets down Swoy as well, and there's no escape. There's no way for him to get out. Nitrogen's trying to scare Shrimpy away. He's unable to do so. Then Quacknix comes in as well, and this is just so much DPS here. SC trying to block and do what he can. Parting Gift goes off as Shrimpy escapes. SC just a walking paperweight here as he goes down next, and Fnatic punishes this retreat because they had the realization that even though they were outnumbered, they had the larger health pools there, and it shows the power of Tracer on the chase. I mean, she has the name Tracer for a reason, so good play there by Shrimpy. The Tracer pick absolutely worked out for Fnatic there in the end.
Yes, it did. Well, we are going to go to a short break, but when we are back, the fight is on here at BlizzCon as Fnatic are able to take one game. We're in the Fall Championship final. We'll see you in a sec.
The Heroes of the Storm Fall Championship is sponsored in part by Intel, T-Mobile, NVIDIA, and Republic of Gamers.
Everything that I do in my life is working towards getting on to the big stage of video gaming.
I don't want to get second place this year. Like, I'm going for first. I won't be happy unless we win.
My name is Andrew Rodriguez, and I go to University of Texas at Arlington.
Daniel Lee, and I go to University of Connecticut.
My name is David Young, and I go to school at University of Tennessee, Knoxville.
My name is Michael Udall, and I go to ASU.
Heroes of the Dorm is an amateur tournament focused on college teams, playing not for prize money, but for tuition.
This is my first year competing in Heroes of the Dorm. Gaming at first was just a hobby, but now it's kind of evolved into part of my life.
I grew up in Mesa, Arizona. Gaming was definitely frowned upon.
I would think, gee, what a waste of time. You guys ought to be studying algebra or anything worthwhile.
My parents used to hate when I played, but now they're like, this is so cool, you're going to Seattle for playing a video game.
Hello and welcome to the Heroes of the Dorm Heroic Four. Here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, 4 college teams have come to battle it out. We started over a month ago, and now we have Tennessee, UT Arlington, UConn, and Arizona State.
We all felt really good after the win, but we came here to win the whole thing, so the work's not over yet.
You don't reach that level without the dedication and the focus and the endless hours honing your craft.
It's going to take a determination and discipline, just like succeeding in anything in life.
It's intense. That's the best way to put it. Until you play the game and try to excel at it, you have no idea.
An outlet like that where students come together and share the same interests. That's what it's all about.
This was the future of esports that we imagined.
Taking a lot of damage, he blows up in a matter of seconds. Shot low on HP, but the boy with another they are going for the core. They're going to be able to save it in time, and it goes down. GG.
The Heroes of the Storm Fall Championship is sponsored in part by Intel, T-Mobile, NVIDIA, and Republic of Gamers.
History is being made here at BlizzCon live from California as we get into game number 4 between Ballistix and Fnatic. Fnatic were able to make the recovery there on Warhead Junction and are now attempting to do the unthinkable. If they can take it to 2-2, then we are in for an absolute blast. Well, a huge thank you for tuning in around the world as well as in our audience. As for now, we are going on to Towers of Doom. The draft has already begun, so let's get right on into things here as we do have, once again, control of Warriors, but look who hasn't been banned.
I'm already so confused. The fact, okay, so the prioritization on the Fawcett, right as I say, there's no way they ever give him ETC. We do see the pickup on the Murden. They have the opportunity to still pick up ETC. It's not the end of the world to run that as a double Warrior comp, but Fnatic chose to take that Fawcett over the ETC that everyone has tried to take away from Breeze.
I feel like they're thinking that this is Quacknix's hero, and they're making adjustments because they have won, or they have been able to play without ETC. Yes, he is very important, but it's Falstad that was giving them a lot of plays in the last game.
I'm calling it now. Fnatic ends up winning BlizzCon. I want the Falstad bird to be a duck.
Imagine that.
Get a duck skin. Let's confirm it right here, right now.
I want it so bad. I would ride the Quacknix Falstad all day, but either way, going into this draft, Globals, we talked about it, Fnatic needs a prioritization. It's another map that complements it, and Brightwing is going to be removed from their arsenal on the global market.
And let's not forget, this is Swoy's favorite support. He's really one of the Brightwing players who kind of changed the meta in Korea, using that global presence to gain soak, push lanes, but also to get ganks like we saw in the previous set. So something that's very important and also strong for Fnatic. They're going to pick up the ETC and Malfurion no surprise taking a top tier hero, of course, for Breeze, and then bringing in the top tier support.
I think the ETC leaving it go until the next thing too, the next phase, was also partially because Ballistix have not played a ton of ETC. I think it was a calculated risk and it paid off for them because now they have 2 comfort picks. Add Malfurion into that, and that is 3 comfort picks out of the gates.
I absolutely agree. I mean, Ballistix is one of the few teams here that if they don't get Murden, they just go, we'll take Johanna. They have no problem with it, but it shows that in their ban that they just straight up just weren't concerned about it, even though, again, Breeze has been so dominant. It provides the global on a map that it seems like that is Fnatic's go-to. They just thrive in the late game chaos of globals.
Our best case study was the ETC losing out on that game just before in the hands of Ballistix, and now Fnatic have it available to them. This is a great start for them if they were looking to mount a comeback, Wolf.
Yeah, I would agree. I think part of the lack of value from ETC came from the Tyrael play that we saw there, and we're going to see Tyrael banned now, right as I say this, by Ballistix here. They want to deny that invulnerability with the ETC. This is something we've seen a lot. The only thing against this, of course, is it means Ballistix won't be picking up Tyrael themselves. We've seen the combination between Jung'an and Noblesse work really well, but not so much paired with the Brightwing.
That's not a ban on Dehaka this time.
Yeah. Are they going to take it?
I don't know.
I mean, you know that Fnatic wants it. And I think Wolf, you brought up a absolutely phenomenal point. Is that Ballistix? It's one of their probably their most popular ban in the second draft or second ban phase is going to be that Tyrael pick. But I feel like the one game where we saw the Bolly coming from Tomb of the Spider Queen was taking that adjustment of saying, all right, we'll just take the Tyrael ourselves and be very successful with it. So that removal, while Fnatic has gotten so much comfort, makes me a bit fearful of maybe the mentality after that last game for Ballistix, or they have a backup plan. Because they've made huge adjustments.
Sure, and I think we might be seeing, in this draft, a Li Ming coming in. Oftentimes you see Greymane come in for Ballistix when they have Tyrael on their side, sometimes with the Brightwing. Tracer is still an option here for Ballistix, of course, but Li Ming is going to be the first damage they take out here. Obviously, Tracer is a very strong pairing with Brightwing, but they don't have full global presence. They don't have Falstad to pair with that, so I'm not really sure. I don't really think we're going to be seeing that Tracer coming forward here. Li Ming is just a solid damage pickup here as they move to adjust into their 4th pick.
Ballistix did play Abathur on Towers of Doom last time they played it. What do you think about that option?
Well, it's definitely a possibility. It's going to give them good map control, vision. They're going to stop those rotations around the map. It's always going to keep Fnatic honest when they're moving across. We talked about vision as such an important factor of Heroes of the Storm. Fnatic's really improved their vision control going forward into this tournament. So, if you do clear well, like Fnatic did against MVP Black, against those mines, it can lose value. I think if you're looking for Abathur here, you're looking for something to pair that with. Here's the Tassadar.
Fnatic, I feel like, is going to be moving down the Dehaka route with their comp here. And then the Tassadar obviously always alludes to who is the task target. What are you going to enable to thrive? And I think Tracer is a really good point. I mean, we saw it very successful last game. Probably one of the better maps for that strategy here on Towers of Doom.
Tracer does have a lot of strong roaming value paired with Brightwing to get ganks, get picks early. Also can chase down Falstad, punish him when he's trying to get extra soak, and he's trying to either defend or push a bell tower to secure that. That's kind of how this map operates. Bell towers are so critical. If you gain one, it changes the entire sphere. Global heroes are going to be dealing with that. Oh, Stitches! Getting locked in, and Sergeant Hammer!
Oh my goodness! Fnatic are bringing it in this next game.
Yeah, no, Stitches is considered by many in Korea to be kind of a counter, a soft counter to Sergeant Hammer. We don't really see Stitches played in Korea. There's the Tracer we were looking for as the 5th pick here. So we're going to need to see Stitches really help out here in getting picks and also helping to protect and zone along with Breeze's ETC to keep Hammer alive. And this kind of reminds me of the spring finals with Edward Gaming and MVP Black. They used Stitches against Sergeant Hammer. This time, Fnatic has Sergeant Hammer and Stitches together. And it's going to be the Tracer that they're looking to use to go for these pickoffs on Falstad and Hammer.
That was that crazy blunt force gun, try to make it to 20 and then use the global from that. Not sure we'll see that this time, but I have seen some teams use Hammer on Towers of Doom specifically. Once you take down the bottom bell tower, you can have an easier time sieging up, and your opponents can't clear out the sappers, and so you just farm shots off of that.
Yeah.
Dread, thoughts with Tracer and Hammer going up against one another?
I actually don't mind Fnatic's composition here. I think Stitches, this is, I mean, probably his best map, if not his second best, compared to Infernal Shrines is going to be one of the other ones. I am questioning, I mean, the Tracer was pretty telestrated with that Tassadar pickup and the map specifically. So picking the Sergeant Hammer into that, I just want to know, I want to make sure that they know what they're getting into, that they understand how vulnerable she may be to Tracer, SCSE, and Schwimpy's positioning really needs to be on point. But at the same time, I can't help but know, even though Schwimpy isn't like the go-to when you think of the all-star of this team, he's always been the flex who's on that weird pick of every one of them, and he's come out on top. It was the Tracer when their backs were against the wall. It was the Medivh when Quacknix didn't even want to draft it, and now they're the one putting it, the Hammer into the Tracer.
I feel like Stitches here is my big question mark in this. I mean, yes, Schwimpy is gonna, but his performance on Hammer, you know, we don't see it all the time, right? He will be the one who comes out with these strange picks and finds success, but it's going to be the rest of the comp together that's more important in my eyes. Because when you're looking at this comp, ETC can get early picks. Stitches, if he gets hooks, can give you early picks. They can snowball the game. Sergeant Hammer is a very strong pushing hero as well. You can get an early bell tower. You can secure that lead, but will they get the picks against one of the most mechanically strong teams in the world? They're going to always have good positioning.
Plus, look at Ballistix composition. There is a lot of escape away from hooks. So they're not going to be fully, hopefully, relying on hooks only because there's a lot of ways to escape from a hook.
Well, we are ready. We are ready for game number 4 here as Fnatic looks to mount the comeback with Stitches and Sergeant Hammer. Get hyped, BlizzCon, because Fnatic might be on their way back here against Ballistix. Gillian Dread, take it away.
There it is. One game away from becoming BlizzCon champions on the blue side. Jung Ha is going to be playing Tassadar. Nacho Jin on the Li Ming. Noblesse playing Murden. SCSC on the Tracer and Swoy on Brightwing. It is Ballistix. Give it up for Ballistix.
And in the red, it's Breeze playing ETC. Quacknix on Falstad. Schwimpy playing Sergeant Hammer. Smexy playing Malfurion. Wubby on Stitches. Let's hear it for Fnatic. You guys are awesome.
They are absolutely phenomenal. All right, so Brightwing is not with the rest of the crew here as the rotations to the mid lane. I personally, when talking about the Stitches pick, because it is a bit controversial, as I say that, Li Ming getting the hook, pairing, nobody's going to get the combo. Quacknix with the huge barrel roll there, and it cost him his life, but I can't help but feel like the hook comp is really not really the focus. A lot of it's going to be all about kind of delay and sieging up and just harassing your opponent, and they try. Again, you brought up like with the Sappers, for instance. You know, if you want to mess with them, we're just going to hook you in, get the harass. I don't think this comp, usually when you see Stitches, you think, all right, this is a pick comp. I don't think that's quite the case, and actually provides a reasonable amount of appeal for the Hammer himself. But again, SCSC on the Tracer is going to be the person we are looking for here for Ballistix.
There is another hook on Swoy. Polymorph trying to keep Quacknix from doing the damage, but Fnatic fires back with a kill of their own. And yeah, I agree. I think there's a couple of different ways that Fnatic can play this out, right? They have Malfurion in the instance that a hook does happen, a great hook they can root underneath. But if that's not the case, then there are other options. There's Gus, there's stage dives. Fnatic have a pretty flexible composition here on Towers of Doom.
Yeah, absolutely. Hammer can be so terrifying, especially moving into those later levels. You know, she just kind of posts up on the block and goes, deal with it, man. You either fight into me and lose, or you don't fight into me and lose. Pick a choice here, unless Tracer can get that dive. So we'll see if that's going to be the case here. But it is the first Shrine rotation here on Towers of Doom, which means we have 3 available. Globals, I can't help but harp on it enough, are going to be even for these teams until level 10. So we'll see who ends up making the rotation here. Both teams capturing the top one on their own. You see Schwimpy, he is kind of posted up. Stitches is not going to, Li Ming's not even going to delay. So it's all going to be the focus here on this bottom Shrine, Gilly.
Fnatic set up in a good way too, knowing that with Falstad being able to fly down, that's great. And Schwimpy is not the most mobile hero in the world on Sergeant Hammer specifically. So just posting up, there's going to be a quick dimensional shift to get Tassadar away from the hook and entangling roots that followed up. Yeah,
that's a cooldown that's going to be down or up quicker than the hook itself. Noblesse trying to zone double channel. They need to get both of them. Bubby's delayed, Smexy delayed as well, but Noblesse is sitting at under 25% health. Huge orb there from Nacho Jin, doing very well. Another hook, another root though. The polymorph is the delay. Swoy's under pressure, but so is Schwimpy. Everybody's health bar's in a bad spot, but Smexy goes down here, and that is going to be the second channel for Ballistix as they get a 4-shot advantage, kill, and a bit of experience, Kelly.
Falstad and Sergeant Hammer did quite a number to Noblesse on Murden, and this is early on. Yes, he'll get tankier, but they're going to be amping up the damage too. Again, we see Falstad, Quacknix getting Seasoned Marksman, going into more of the auto attack build, and that's something that Sergeant Hammer is known for doing too. So they're going to be able to chunk people down later on.
Absolutely. A Sapper Camp picked up on the lower half. Wubby, I'm being a little stealthy, Chef Stitches up there. Honestly, you could probably smell them though. Have you seen that, dude? Swoy's under pressure though. Quacknix is there. He's not gonna get the hook off. He's trying to bait him out so heavily. All right, so he misses the Q. That's not going to get the slow on the Swoy. That was very bad. Quacknix not being able to get that 100% ensures his survivability, but Breeze is going to have to power slide out. And Ballistix is just putting pressure everywhere. This is what they're very good at. They force any small issue, sacrificing mid-experience. It's actually a really beautiful thing. One of the only teams, I think, in competitive Heroes of the Storm history that have mastered that. I don't even know what to call it yet. I haven't gotten a term, but it's really awesome to see that from them.
I believe in you. I know you'll coin a term eventually.
Yeah.
They do also understand that when they need to rotate 2 lanes. They moved up to the top, didn't lose too much from that, so still soaking it up, the experience from the lane there. Ballistix has shown in the past to focus on both of the Sapper camps. Schwimpy sieging up pretty far
He has no thrusters either. He sacrifices himself. He's going to be a tank going down. Tracer is still in pursuit. Smexi's getting body blocked here by Noblesse. Stormbolt's going to be up in a couple of seconds. There it is. SCSC confirms the kill here, and that is going to be a 2-for-0. And we're talking about the positioning of Hammer. He got aggressive with the thrusters, thinking he could get a pick with his W against that sidewall, and then ended up getting a CG a little bit too far, and very good punishment here from Ballistix.
Impeccable punishment.
Yeah, very well done.
Getting 2 kills. Malfurion's now not up. Ballistix knows this. They can get a better setup initially around the altar phase, which will be activating in 9 seconds, but Malfurion heads straight to the safe altar for Fnatic, and Wubby is setting up, looking to see if maybe he can hook anybody in. Breeze going to anchor in this bush too. Maybe going to go in even to stall out Swoy, but at the very least ensuring that Malfurion can pick up their altar and the trade happens.
Yeah, both teams going even. Again, Ballistix has a minor advantage. Experience is something we always have to consider as well. SCSC pressuring down here with the Sappers once more, getting the harass. Quacknix will get the fight, trying to peel off them. He should be able to clear at least 2 out of the 3 here, so it won't be that bad of a spot. But again, you have to focus on the experience along with everything else. Actually, Breeze trying to flank. Power side and the SCSC won't do anything unless they one-shot him. Schwimpy coming down as well.
Focusing on SCSC is going to be a miserable experience for Fnatic.
Yeah,
with Tassadar shields, Fnatic understands that. They just played that. It's a tough thing to deal with, and that'll be the problem, of course, too, for Fnatic. And if Sergeant Hammer ever wants to siege up, it's up to Fnatic to make sure that they are keeping tabs at all times on Tracer specifically.
And the point that I was kind of talking about a bit earlier is, again, for those who don't know, experience on this map is very crucial. The shots are going to get stronger, not stronger, but at least easier and more accessible as this game moves on. So as long as Fnatic is able to stay within a talent range of their opponent, it's realistic that they can still take out this game. And for now, they are going to be a level down that is pretty significant this early into the game. A bit of it's a wave experience, but Ballistix should be able to pressure these Sappers in with their 10 advantage and possibly a bell tower on top of it, root to try and stop them. But again, look at this, neglecting the rest of the lanes. They're going to rotate through. And this is what they're so great at. As they hit 10, the bomb, and Breeze barely survives.
Breeze survives, but this bell tower is not long for the world. The focus on bottom lane from Ballistix has been impeccable. This push here, keeping Schwimpy from being able to get the advantage in the bottom lane.
All right, so 10 advantage will be in favor of Ballistix, but Fnatic is slowly going to be able to close in that 22 seconds for the map objective. Sappers are going to be pressuring. Those will be conclusive shots. Fnatic has to decide, are we more worried about the actual altar itself in 15, or are we going to be worried about the Sappers pressuring bottom? And to be honest, I don't think that Ballistix is going to stop. They want both of these at this point in time. Brightwing still making sure they don't sacrifice any experience to channel here on the back half. Keep in mind, Falstad and Stitches are both there. They're going to try and make a play as they just barely reach 10 here. There it is.
Hook is on. There's the gorge.
Is the gust going to be enough? Isolating 1. Keep in mind, that's Tracer. She's a rough target.
Yeah.
Brightwing teleports in.
There's a Force Wall too, separating some of the members of Fnatic away. And Polymorph, ETC blown up very fast. No Breeze to be in front for Fnatic. They still have Stitches, but nobody in place, in position to stop this out. And Ballistix is going to get another altar.
A little bit of a optimistic or ambitious play here from Fnatic ends up costing them 4 more shots. The positive side to this is they did end up stopping some of the sappers moving below.
Mosh pit for ETC instead of stage dive. Not wanting the global this time. Schwimpy gets hit by Stormbolt. Follow up. Nacho Jin pushes him back. Schwimpy's okay.
Yeah, having the mosh pit is such a great defensive tool for, for the Sergeant Hammer specifically. Not having, taking the Gorge is going to isolate a single target if you want the pick. It also pairs with the Gorge itself. And then if anybody gets onto Schwimpy, you can just mosh pit around him, say dance, and then hopefully it makes it happen. But Nacho Jin's gotten such good harass there. Schwimpy posting up has not been necessarily the most successful the 2 to 3 times we've seen that from him. Usually taking a lot of damage. Both the globals are still on top though.
Breeze is doing a good job of trying to wear the damage coming out from Nacho Jin. There's another hook. Nacho Jin quick to teleport away in time, as Wubby does have Gorge back up, and with this close, there's maybe a spot where you could Gorge someone in and take them into the kill zone.
Yeah, but there's going to be a lot of dashes. The force wall says you shall not pass. The mosh pit's going to hit 3, 4 people here. Wubby barely surviving, but nobody's dead yet. SCSC, the animation on Twilight Dreams canceled. The Gus into the wall of death. Quackdix so clutch here.
Li Ming is down, and Fnatic can try to continue this fight as a 5v4.
Schwimpy though, every time you do that, you scare me a bit. Noblesse goes in, the bomb goes in, he is gone! Very good job there from Fnatic, or excuse me, Ballistix, just ridiculous play. I can't help but put more emphasis on Schwimpy. Every time we see him siege, it's just at least 90% of his health.
Yep. The damage was still there even in losing one person from Ballistix, and that has allowed Ballistix to be 13, and this bottom point is still being held by Ballistix. They have done such a good job of just defending this, because they know that as long as they're here sieging, all of Fnatic have to be down here too.
Choosing where Fnatic has to go is what Ballistix has been doing. 5 towers are still in their control. Tracers dancing around. The shots, or altars, excuse me, have spawned. Sappers pressuring Brightwing. It secures 5 more shots. That's going to be 18 on the core here for Fnatic. They don't have 13 tier advantage. You can tell they don't want that fight. Quackdix is just trying to clear the wave on mid as best as he possibly can. The hook over, Tassadar's not your target. He's got double E as well. Prescience will come into play here. The root on him, Gus is gonna push them away, so a little bit of mixed communication here, Gilly.
Well, the Twilight Dream went down, but Noblesse was the one who was caught, and he is nice and tanky as Muradin. Nacho Jin throwing out damage, another hook.
So beautiful. Such great play. Did you see that right there with the Disintegrate pressured out? The minute he saw the hook animation, willing to cancel it, blink away, ensuring the fact that he's going to survive, not taking the risk there. Loon's Grace doing a great job. Noblesse diving in. Quackdix is in a really bad spot. Tracer's trying to secure the kill. Breeze wears the pulse bomb with that power slide, but his poor Stitches so isolated, ends up going down. Fnatic finally hits 13 talents here after they have already lost a member of their team.
They used a lot for that fight. It didn't pay off. Swoy gets another altar with 5 shots, and Fnatic is running out of time. 32 core health to 10, but it is Towers of Doom. There's always the potential to come back, and Fnatic are not super far behind in experience, but the boss is going to be even more shots.
I can't help but put focus on the Sapper abuse on that bottom half of the map here for Ballistix. We've never seen a team really try and do that. Breeze, he smells the boss, but is he going to try and sacrifice himself? Nobody's going to be there for him. Bell Tower was picked up on bottom here for Fnatic. That is really the bright side of the situation. Gorge is on the Murd, and he still has Dwarf Toss, so they need to get the pairing with the synergy. And he's not even caring. He's just going to be like, you know, we'll wear that. I'm not in the wall of death. I'm not into anything here. And again, Fnatic is looking at 6 shots left on their core. They have 4 Bella Towers currently in control. Everything seems to just be falling apart here, Gilly, for Fnatic.
And it really is the problem that there is so much escape from Ballistix. If it's Muradin who gets pulled in, it's Dwarf Toss, and he's able to get out, not quite being in the kill zone.
Not going to land.
And Tingling Roots were there. They have all the synergy they need to make it happen. They just have to land the hooks. Schwimpy finally starting to siege up, and an orb comes out, drops him to half.
Yeah, and he's like, well, that wasn't the brightest idea I've ever had, so we'll see if we can make something happen elsewhere. Noblesse going in, great job. Breeze wearing the stun onto Schwimpy. He is just Noblesse is not even pressured back here. He's the dwarf who's just dancing onto the backline. Finally, Quacknix putting the pressure in. Stormbolt, Schwimpy though is at already 10%. All the resources there. The entire team is split. Moshpit's only onto one target. Gus is still available. Tracer diving everyone, not carrying Twilight Dream onto all of them. The whole team is split here. And at the end of it all, no one dies. Altars spawn, and this could be match point.
This could be it. 3 altars available. At least Fnatic has all of their bell towers, but this is going to be tough. They have to get these.
Fnatic needs to get these shots. If they lose 2 altars, they lose this game. They fall out of the tournament. They cannot let this happen. They see them posturing over for 1. The global on the bottom half, 2 people committed, 4 Ballistix down below. This is gonna be rough.
Fnatic are down, but they are not out. Running in to try to steal the shots away. Schwimpy is zoning, hits the concussive blast back. Malfurion simultaneously channeling. Wubby gets 1. No, it's not been picked up. They have to try to do this again. Malfurion comes in, though he has picked up their own.
This is so rough, so SCSC gets the delay again. Again, if they lose this bell tower, they lose the game. There's gonna be the hook, Gilly. I don't know if they have what it takes.
Jungha dimensional shifts away. Fnatic are fighting for their lives at this point.
They're on the retreat. Noblesse dives in again onto Schwimpy in the rough positioning, Gilly. This is, oh my gosh, such a bad spot. Swoy's gonna start the channel.
There's a force wall. Swoy started the channel. Fnatic have to go in now. They have to get in. Breeze jumping in. Wubby has gone in too. So many heroes have been used. ETC is down. A hook's up Swoy. This has got to be it. Fnatic down. They have lost Falstad. They have lost Sergeant Hammer. ETC is out. Wubby again trying to stop it, but he won't be able to. Ballistix has done what Team DK could not. They will be your BlizzCon champions.
Absolutely amazing. Just ridiculous play coming out from them here on Towers of Doom.
And there it is. The core is down. Ballistix, your 2016 Heroes of the Storm World Champions.
It started just with Super League, originally being unable to beat MVP Black, but then later taking them over, and then Noblesse and SCSC ridiculed last year at BlizzCon after not being able to take out Cloud9. These guys, they were wondering when they were going to be validated, but I can tell you here today that these members are validated for their play. Nacho Jin not even being able to have very good success in his past and his career. Same with Jungha and Swoy. He was brought to tiers to qualify for BlizzCon, but today, he ends up winning BlizzCon. He is a BlizzCon 2016 champion for Heroes of the Storm. Ballistix deserved absolutely every ounce of this.
Ballistix only dropped 2 games this entire tournament run. What incredible play from this team. Your champions, Ballistix Gaming.
Amazing. We've never seen a performance this great, other than, I would argue, the undefeated run of MVP Black at Spring Global Championship. And you know, the story holds true that Spring, whoever wins Super League is most likely to come out and win the World Championship here. And Ballistix is no exception to this. And I can't help but have feels for every one of these members. Again, the 3 that have had not the greatest success in questioning their careers. And then again with SCSC and Noblesse, those guys have been here before and they struggled, and everybody questioned, you weren't supposed to make it there. MVP was supposed to be one who did it. Well, guess what? Today, MVP made it to the same tournament, and they can say, not only did we make it farther, we won the whole thing.
And they got revenge for MVP Black, losing to Fnatic. They've claimed the trophy for themselves, for Korea, for their region. But I think we are ready to hear from our champions. Let's go down to Anna to hear from Ballistix.
I am standing on stage with your Heroes of the Storm World Champions. Let's hear it one more time. And to give them extra congratulations from Blizzard, I'd love to welcome to the stage the franchise lead for Heroes of the Storm, Sam Braithwaite, and executive producer, Chris Ziggity. Let's welcome them to the stage. Chris, I know you have some special words for our champions.
Quick, I just want to say, BlizzCon, thank you so much for being here. As KO said in the opening ceremony, Heroes is a game that was really created with all of us together. We consider it BlizzCon the game. So to see this level of play, it's just amazing. It really is the highlight of the year for us. And on behalf of Blizzard Entertainment, these are the medals that we want to give to the 2016 World Champions for Heroes of the Storm, Ballistix. Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you, Chris. As you accept your medals, SCSC, I want to ask you, how does it feel to be standing on this stage as the world champion of Heroes of the Storm?
지금 이 무대에 서고 계신 느낌 한마디만 해주세요.
일단 정말 이 무대에서 우승했다는 것 자체에 실감이 안 나고요. 그리고 이렇게 많은 팬분들 사이에서 경기를 하고 우승을 했다는데 너무 행복해요.
So this whole scene is just unreal to me, and I'm just really happy that I'm standing in front of all this crowd and made a good match.
Speaking of the crowd, you're a long way from home, but there are so many people here cheering for you that are your fans that have come to watch you. Is there anything you'd like to say to them on behalf of your team?
지금 여기 계신 분들 말고도 이제 또 저희 한국에서 여기까지 오신 팬분들도 있는데 혹시 그분들한테 한마디 말씀해 주실 수 있는지?
한국에서 오신 팬분들께 되게 멀리서 오셨는데 이렇게 우승으로 보답할 수 있어서 정말 행복해요.
I'm just really happy. Thank you all guys for coming here all the way here to watch me play.
We appreciate them as well, don't we? Congratulations once more, Ballistix, our champions. And guys, at this point, I'd love to welcome all of our commentators and everyone involved in production to the stage. Please thank them as well for a wonderful job done. And our production backstage who you can't see. It's been absolutely a pleasure for us to share this with you. Thank you for everything that you've done to make this possible. And I want to echo Mike Morheim and say, be good to each other. And we'll see you in the Nexus. Good night.